Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. You know what it is. You already know what it is. I don't have to tell you. Today is Wednesday, and so you know that this is what we call Way Out Wednesday. Way Out Wednesday. This is the day where you right. Yeah, you become the boss. Yes. And whatever's on your heart, you can give us a call 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call and we will talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. In its entirety. That's what we're gonna do. Talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. Now, I want to start off, Captain Leonard.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Fine.
Man, Warlock did it, huh?
Exactly. What did you call that man? Warlock?
Yeah. Wait,
No.
what name is? What
War
name is?
knock.
Nah.
Sister. War.
I messed the name all yeah, boy. So I'm hanging a happy head for the lady and porcupine proud. Boy, I done messed the man whole name up. It's Warnock. Yeah, that's it. Warnock. He did it, man. He
That's
did
right.
it. Mm-hmm. How,
It's,
how you how you feeling this morning?
I'm just good to see people take voting serious
Yeah.
and still so much work to do
Mm-hmm.
until people understand that voting must be your habit. It's sacred like church.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean that I don't think people understand how important it is to stay active
Mm-hmm.
in a democracy, especially those who need the most.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think what's the how do you say Anslog? What's the name? How you say his name? You know, I'm terrible with names, man. What's his name?
Oshoff.
Oso, yeah. He leading right now too, ain't he? Last I checked, he had taken the lead.
Exactly.
Mhm,
So it'll be, I think, what they certify, what, Friday?
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So definitely. But it's good to see that Warnock was able to do what he did
Mhm.
because and when you know people personally
Mhm.
and you see them win, that's awesome because it starts so small
Mhm. Yeah.
and you just build and build and build.
Mhm.
It took a long time because you got to remember this man has been doing great work in the community.
Yes, he has.
That's
For
what
a long
he that's what he does.
Mhm.
So it's
Mm.
good to see him in office. You can't have a righteous government unless you put righteous people in these positions.
And I'm gonna tell you something. To me, this is the start right here.
Right. And we should not be apologetic
Mhm.
or
Mm.
anything towards these evil dogs that have done what they have done to this government.
Now, I was listening to your buddy this morning, Leonard. Your main guy, the Black Eagle. I was listening to him on the way in this morning. And he did his and when I tuned in, he was talking about his monologue. I missed that part of it, but he got his first caller, and from his first caller, they said this is blase blase from told where he's from and everything, and he said, "Go ahead, caller." This guy rubbed him the first from the from the first call, rubbed on Madison the wrong way, man, and Madison stopped him, and this is what he was saying. He was saying, "Well, it's good to see that how much power we can have when we come together and blase blase when we do things good. I just wonder how long this is gonna last." And Madison said, "Man, shut up."
Shut up.
That's
Shut
the
up already.
Yeah, he said, "Shut up." And then when Madison got to tell him what he said, oh, he hung up. Oh, okay, he hung up. I'm glad he hung up because he ain't got no business calling him. He said, "Man, the champagne ain't even stop bubbling, and here you go calling complaining, talk about stuff. You talk about
How
negative stuff."
long, how
He said,
long will it last?
Yeah. He said, let's celebrate first, man. He said the champagne is still bubbling, and here you go complaining about what we're gonna do and how we're gonna fall apart next week. And he said, "Man, shut up."
And why would you why exactly those type of people I don't fool with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He
You know,
shut him down.
you waste your time on them. You got to shut them down.
Mm-hmm. I was
You
like,
got
wow.
to, man. If you just start shutting these people down,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
who, if you have the truth and you are right, stand up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. I tell you one thing: the world, I'm gonna go to Badger because Badger, he's actually over in Texas, but I'm sure he know as well about what's been going on and how the whole world has been targeting and watching Georgia and what's happening in this runoff. Badger, I know you've seen some things about this. It's been Majesty Badger, Lord Jesus, look at
I
brother.
don't do news and all that, man.
You don't look at news?
Nope.
Oh, okay, that's good though, because most of
I've
us
looked
bad.
into some of it because of I heard Leonard and some other people talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not very knowledgeable about it at all.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The whole world was actually watching and had their eyes on Georgia, for this runoff situation. And
And
yes,
and it's not just because of the political ramifications,
mm-hmm. Come on.
it's the racial issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows what Georgia is famous for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Racism and the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you think when you think Georgia.
Yeah.
And so to see decent people come together and vote for people that won't change is the most amazing thing in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we do know, a lot of these states, especially those that were part of the Confederacy, are backwards and non-progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And the horrible things that they have done must be overturned. It's a shame everything that people have suffered. We just now going to really start being able to destroy Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm. After all these years.
After all the 2021, the first black senator.
Mm-hmm. Ever in history. In
And
history now.
there was an effort to not allow this to happen in
Mm-hmm.
the Confederate States.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it took decent people, not just black people,
No.
not white
No.
people, not just red people, blue. It took every decent person
They come together.
to come together
Mm-hmm.
to vote for another decent person.
Yeah.
We just seen two examples of folks I wouldn't allow my dog to associate with.
Mm.
Running for
Is,
highest positions in the
is,
land.
is it that bad, Leonard?
I
Not your dog.
despise evil people.
Mm.
I despise people who mean nothing but disenfranchisement for others.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even be on that side of the game?
Mm-hmm.
The side of the game that wants to destroy those things for the people who need them the most.
Yeah.
How you gonna play on that team?
I have no idea, brother. And my question is this right here too. Today is the day that Pence is supposed to
Get on the plane and escape? What?
he's supposed to something with the electorals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump has said, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, that if he did that, and Pence said, I have no power to not do it. I have no power to go against that. But Trump said, if you do it, I'm not gonna be too happy with you. I'm not gonna like him too much.
I mean, that is exactly true because now they have to run.
Mm-hmm.
They have to run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they should be doing. They should be trying to escape America right now.
Mm.
Because we have to set an example
Mm-hmm.
for people who have an intention on destroying our democracy,
Mm-hmm.
like we do everywhere else.
Yeah. Exactly. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I've been looking into what's going on in on Native American land.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a link this morning about one of the concerns and issues that's going on right now.
Okay. Talk to me about it. What's going on?
Well, there's concern that with the way Trump and the people in power, and even with Biden becoming president, supposedly, some of the land in protected places are going to be turned into copper mines, lithium mines, and different things of that nature, as well as the Native American women still being taken or stolen from the lands, and there's nothing public about it.
You say they're gonna be taken from the land. People gonna be taken from the land. Is that what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about trafficking.
Trafficking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trafficking still going on reservations and stuff, but nobody talks about it.
Mm. I'm trying to figure out what we could do to shed some light on it because
Let me see.
And the thing about it is trafficking is trafficking.
yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so there are huge efforts
Mm-hmm.
to stop human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has to, a lot more people have paid attention to it now,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in the metro area.
Yeah. It's supposed to be one of the hotbeds for it, isn't it?
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it is, as long as there are people who are protecting it,
Mm-hmm.
is why there is a problem. I believe in really locking people up. I am not a stickler
I
about
got
that at all.
I got a question about that, Leonard, and I want to hear your heart on it, brother. What kind of person? I mean, and some people say, well, monetary, they getting some kind of back money behind doing it. But what kind of person, decent person, would stand on would stand even I don't care if it's millions and billions of dollars. How many person would stand behind somebody doing something like that? That would support that.
I mean,
What
I don't even understand why you find it hard to believe.
I know from where we're talking about, I understand, but I'm saying from a decent human being standpoint,
There isn't there is no standpoint there.
there should be.
These people don't have a regard for human life.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. It's for what can be sold.
Mm.
We've seen this before when them ships came over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. Come
this
on.
ain't new to America.
Mm-hmm.
America was built on human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm.
stole people
Yeah,
and
yeah.
brought them over here and enslaved them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as part of government.
Let me watch this. Watch this. How much blood is on the soils of America?
That's why it needs to be fought. There's a lot of blood on this soil.
There's
Mhm.
way too much.
Mm.
But see, when you're trying to build and perfect a democracy, that's what will happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So you just have to make sure it's their blood and not yours.
So it's just called. I guess in military, it would be it would be considered casualty of war.
No, no. Casualties happen outside of the plan.
Mm-hmm. So
This
this was
was the
inside. This was designed.
was the design.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the plan was. There was no plan ever to be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people have to understand. This wasn't no peaceful mission.
Mm-hmm.
Seek, kill, and destroy mission.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that the when you say the plan? I want to go to Badger. I want to say good morning to the goddess as well. But when you say the plan, when they come somewhere and they take that flag and they stick that flag in the ground, is that the plan to seek uh and destroy? Capture,
Yes.
seek it.
Yes.
Every time they go somewhere to a new place and they stick that flag in the ground, that's the overall mission. Is what you're saying to me?
Yes. And it's what frustrates me the most
Mm-hmm.
is that Americans don't understand this. You have been in public school. You still there?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, because it looks like I thought the visuals. There you go. You've been through public school.
Mm-hmm.
You've learned the history.
Mm-hmm.
K through 12, you taught this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for you to be standing around at 21 like you don't know what's going on.
Like it's new to you.
You don't have 12 years of this education about this country. By the time you become an adult,
Mm-hmm.
you should know what's going on. Horrible people
They,
do
they
horrible
say,
things.
Leonard, they say a lot of times they say that the best way to hide something is to put it right in front of somebody's face. Do you think that's what's happening here in America?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of hide. You have your things that are sealed and concealed and things like that, but they ain't hidden if you can just press a button and find them.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't hidden if they just in a book. The
Mm-hmm.
book is right there.
And see, and that's the thing, and that's my point right there. Because a lot of times, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in plain view.
It's amazing to me that when people, I'm shocked. Y'all don't know, y'all don't know horrible people if you're shocked.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know bad people. I expect bad people to do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have people in charge that are remnants of those who have no problem enslaving other people, you can
Mm-hmm.
never support them.
Yeah.
You can never support them.
Mm-hmm.
What is sad is that America still provides almost 50% of people who identify and support this Republican agenda. And even if you take the names away, because I'm gonna play the black people game. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
call it what it is, it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Just change the name.
Yeah.
No, because if you change the name, the agenda still stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been the Green Team. If the Green Team was about what the Republicans was about, they would be the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much you change the name or change the way it looked, put a dress on it, do whatever you want to dress it up.
Mm-hmm.
These are still evil people who support disenfranchising the least of us.
Take a pig out the pig pen, out the slop.
Think about it.
Spray it down and put a dress and a bow on it. It's still a pig, it's just a dressed up pig.
Right. And that's why I've been on that Zechariah like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be about executing true judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop trying to, it can't be about hurting people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We have to discontinue that here in America. And as long as it's sad to say, and a lot of people say, why is it about race? Because race has got us where we're at right now. So it's going to take us to focus on race to change it.
Yeah.
This is why I was a supporter of Ossoff's campaign.
Mm-hmm. Get to the root of it.
Because he states it firmly.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to say black people have been treated unjustly and things need to change.
Mm-hmm.
You got some people scared to even say it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a conversation they don't want to have. Badger, what's on your heart? Then I'm coming to you, Goddess.
That last comment you made, Leonard, I was having a discussion in some of the discords that I'm in, and a lot of them, are light-skinned folks, and they're pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are pissed off at the way things are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, why don't we just, make a group and, go support them and stuff? And most of them, their comment was they're afraid.
Mm.
And I don't know what they're afraid of, Badge.
Some of them are afraid of fellow light-skinned people and how they're going to treat their family. They feel that they have no voice whatsoever to speak up or to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are very happy at the non-violent protests that are going on to enlighten people of what's going on in the world, especially here in America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to rally some of them together, and they're like, "You're lucky though. You can go talk to all these people and stuff because you're part Native, and they know this, and they accept you because you have Native American blood." I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with black people to accept me, bro.
Come on.
Yeah. So and I tell them about our group here, all you awesome people and stuff, and I tell them what we talk about and stuff, and they're like, "Wait, y'all have spiritual conversations and none of y'all are belittling each other?" I said, "Not at all."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "We come from different backgrounds and everything." I'm like, the point of what we're trying to do is what we always talk about: helping people find information and different ways to view what is going on, to get off their tail end and think for themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Find your research, find what gets you closer to creation, and help make a difference in this world for the good.
That's right.
And my thing is, Badger, invite them to come on with us. Invite them to come on. Invite them to tune in.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. I
But
understand.
I truly
Okay,
believe.
you have to understand the moment that the word Christian comes out, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the folks that I know automatically go, well, if I have a different point of view, they're not even going to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, I follow a native path. And they're like, yeah, we know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on this broadcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't use that with me. That don't work.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. God is good morning, young lady. How you
Good
doing?
morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Man, listen here. Everybody had their eyes on Georgia, and I think Georgia has come through.
Yes, they did. Stacey Abrams, also, both of them, they just were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I know here in Kansas City, we had our eyes on them. We as Black women had our eyes on Stacey. We also had our eyes on so everything was not just Black women, but women, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Women, period, of power. So I need to go ahead and state that, because I got a lot of friends that are attorneys, but they criminal attorneys and stuff. So we've been fighting the system together, and
Mm-hmm.
we know what Georgia's been up against for years.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We know what they've been up against.
Mm-hmm.
We know the trials and tribulations. They even had, I know that one of the cases they had is a young man that got hung down there after the Trump rally.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what they're up against. And what I am seeing now is how it's so funny how when we were fighting for Black Lives Matter, all the Trumpettes and all the people they were talking about, oh, they shouldn't be, they're rioting, and actually we were doing a peaceful march, everything was peaceful, until the police officers decided to come against us in riot gear and really do different things against us. Now they're marching out here in the street and they're getting done the same way, which is so weird. But it that right there, I don't know what to say on that. That's just crazy to me.
Exactly. And to think this is 2021. This is 2021. And this is the first Black senator, like Leonard was saying earlier, that Georgia has ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Man, and sink your mind around that, and throughout the whole time, is now it's 2021, and this is the first one that Georgia has ever had. God
And that's the reason why I with the South, we need to make it our business. There should be a descendant of a slave in every position, in every seat, in every state in the South. This has to happen. We have to elect more women. Because as I said before, I'll vote for anybody if I just trust women a little bit more to turn this thing around. And it's simply because, like God says, women make men. You can't just treat them as receptacles for your semen. And we know that's what that old power structure was about.
Yes.
So if you want someone who really cares about children, you have to put people in office that make children.
Yeah.
We've watched evil white men try to disenfranchise just about everybody else for power. This is a work that's been in progress over 250 years. This ain't just happened yesterday.
Yeah, it ain't new.
It took every minute of those 250 years to get here today for this man to be senator. And that shows you how much work has to be done, because they're going to fight against him every chance they get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you're here in Georgia, you know how we're going to have to be involved. You know how we're going to have to, like Kansas City, for instance. and even going of like with remember where they had all the issues, St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
and these things. Look at your population. If you're the majority of the population, you should be the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That's rational democracy. That the many have input into government. E pluribus unum, huh?
Mm-hmm. One of many.
So we have to make sure that decent people come together to run government and not just allow these rich people who support corporations to run everything.
Mm-hmm.
Give that the poor man's word is power, is his vote.
Yeah.
And you can take a person from a project that grew up drugs and everything
Mm-hmm.
that can overcome those obstacles and odds to be in public office because they're going to serve the community, not
Yes.
like these rich, wealthy people who just serve themselves.
Mm-hmm. Trying to
It's
make.
not that I'm, like I said, I ain't in love with people. I just want people to do right.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Grand Rising, my people. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, man.
Good morning.
We woke up smiling this morning because Georgia came through, bro. Georgia
Yeah,
came.
man. I stayed up late watching that, man. It was a nail biter at first.
Yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't watch it. I
It was,
listened to it a little bit, but I couldn't just sit and watch.
Yeah.
when I finally saw that he had got up by like 400 votes, he had finally caught Purdue. I said, man, it's a wrap now, man. I said that turtle ain't finna catch up now, man. It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And black people, these were Fulton, DeKalb, Clayton counties.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been in Georgia anytime, if like I said, if we have to rely on those votes, great. It's going to be Democratic because these are huge strongholds of African American populations.
Yeah.
We have these. They have been the local efforts to disenfranchise these counties.
Mm-hmm.
First, it was at one time, I think, in the very beginning, it was voting machines.
Yeah. Hey, Leonard, answer that question for me.
Sir, what's that, sir? I can't see. You have to tell me.
Okay. Has the second race been called?
I don't think so. Not just yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's not the only one on my scene that really has a check mark as a clear win is Warnock.
Okay. Okay. But he's ahead now, though, right?
Ossoff, yes, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
But I think it's 98 or 99% so far. It's not completely 100% reported, I think, for Ossoff. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. You might have to. Let me see. There's a question here. You might have to explain what you mean the second race. Okay. No. Yeah. We got. He's talking about I butchered brother. Yeah. Oslo. Oh, rather his
man. Ossoff. There's no L.
Look at brother O. I'm trying to find out brother O1. You know, I call him brother O. But
he just when he voted, he just looked for the person with an O in front of his name. Man, I don't know how to pronounce it. Just give me the man with the O.
Yeah. Put check beside his name. That's what I'm talking about. But we're gonna get back on. We're gonna get back on this because we're definitely gonna talk about this throughout the day, and gonna keep our eyes on those numbers. But I want to ask y'all a different question. How important is it? And this geographics have a lot to do with this. But how important is it that you teach your children proper manners? Some people say manners with the yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, and thank you and all that stuff. How important is that most people teach their children that, Rico?
It's very important. I mean, that goes a long way. You know, it's called respect. You know, it's called having, I'm gonna say, being mindful of those around you, whether it's for the children or for your elders. You know, I mean, you really not, you might not say yes ma'am or no ma'am to your children, but you still got to be very mindful of them being around, their presence. But it's important. I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. You know, respect begets respect.
Yeah.
You know, and with a lot of respect, you got to get it. You got to give it to get it.
Now, one thing I do realize, and I've seen more down south is practiced and is preached more down south than it is up north. Up north, they're like, yeah, no, okay, yes,
Mhm.
no, and a lot of the kids up there that I see up there or that come from up there, they don't too much they're not too much into the yes sir and no sir and stuff like that. Some people think it's a form of extended slavery.
Subordination
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
severe subordination. I mean, I now my children, I never told them to say yes sir or no ma'am. I told them to say yes or no. I
yeah.
felt like that was proper and respect.
Yeah.
But I think that sir, it puts too much of a pedestal on your title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody doesn't deserve to be called a sir if they
Mm-hmm.
run around here neglecting their children and robbing and stealing. You know what I look like telling my son to call you yes sir, and you sitting out here just the biggest clown in the community or
Mm-hmm.
the biggest floozy, the biggest whore. What I look like telling my son or my daughter, yes, he say yes, ma'am to her, you know, so that in general, just because thing is the reason why I said I'd never do the yes, sir, no ma'am thing. But, and then the funny thing is my son's mothers, they bad about that.
Yeah.
The same women that keep my sons from me, that kept my sons from me, sabotage our relationship,
Mm-hmm.
still demanded that they say yes, sir, when they respond to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, other people. You say yes, sir. And I'm like, say yes, sir. But you had them in the window laughing at me when you called the police on me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want them, you gonna encourage them to disrespect me, but they still gotta have yes, sir, and plan it. So I'm like, man, you know what? Even when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
I felt a tinge of slavery influence on that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that came from any of my ancestors truly because it just sounded, you know, sometimes things just don't feel right or sound right. And
Mm-hmm.
I just got that rush from it. Whenever I heard the words, I always felt like I was almost saying mouser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Exactly. And that's what a lot of people have that idea in their mind. But let me go to the phone lines. Y'all get ready for this. Donald Toussaint. Good morning, sir. How y'all doing? How you doing this morning? Donald Toussaint.
Get ready for what?
Because ain't no telling what you about to say, brother. How how oh leave him alone, Leonard. Leave him alone. How
Don't get
important
him stirred up.
Thank you,
exactly.
lady. Thank you, lady.
How important is it that kids learn to say yes, sir, yes, yes, ma'am, no, no, sir, and thank you and please. That line of mannerism. How important is it, Donald, that kids learn that?
As long as it's not yassa.
Mm.
In the tone.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why I say that. Because you can give a person uh that level of respect no matter what their age
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. Um you know, somebody they'll be shocked. They'll be years younger than I am, and I'll think it's just as a response
Mm-hmm.
because you know it's kind of like to get respect, you have to give it,
Yes.
but at the same time, you don't want a person to feel like just because I said yes sir to you, you're not you don't have no superiority. You're not superior to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
you know.
you think
Go ahead.
some of that is like a superiority type thing where you almost teaching them to bow down, if you will, to the elders.
Well, well, it, I don't know where it came from, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just something that we were taught. You say proper manners.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. No, no, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as response to some kind of appreciation for
Mm-hmm.
humanity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I mean, it ain't nobody. I'm not small or less than anybody because I say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a normal response for me. Don't take nothing from me,
Mm-hmm.
nothing whatsoever. But at the same time, I'm kind of careful with it
Yeah. Okay.
because some people take that as just that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I have to go back and straighten that out,
Okay.
if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I say yes, sir, or no, sir, to certain people,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever experienced this. There are some people that try to shake your hand with their hand on top of your hand,
Yeah. Yeah. Some
you know.
superior,
And
like
so
they're superior, like
I
they're
make
superior.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. So I make sure that at that point I straighten that hand out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I don't look down when I'm talking to somebody. I
Mm-hmm.
look them in the eye,
And see the
you
thing.
know. Period.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody down the thing. Thank you. Appreciate it. But sometime a lot of times what they do too is when they shake your hand, they'll try to turn your hand sideways. Then they'll
Mm-hmm.
place the hand on top of your hand. And hold on, bro. Hold
Right.
on. Hold on. Who you talking to? Let me go to the phone line.
Exactly.
We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Minister Redeemed, Tallahassee, Florida.
Hey, how you doing this morning, sir?
Blessed and highly favored and enjoying this topic that you all are talking about.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate that. How important is it to you that that your children learn yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, and yes, ma'am, and all those pleasantries that go into it? Is it important?
I think it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only important, it's biblical.
Mm-hmm.
Where giving honor to whom honor is due.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's some of things that we've something we've gotten far away from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the reasons that we have some of the issues that we have right now is because so many have not been taught these types of principles, these types uh, of just courtesies,
Mm-hmm.
of respect. And I think that lack of respect has caused us to shy away from not only blessings, but to walk ourselves right into uh, the troubles and the trials that we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as not just the youth, but even some of the older ones, as we learn that to be able to respect our elders. And I think if the younger folks start seeing some of the older ones respecting their elders, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's something that they can grow from and learn from as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets a precedence that, hey, wait a minute. Hey, they paid their dues. They're the ones that are teaching us. Now we need to learn from them so we can teach somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But when they don't see that, when they see disrespect or lack of respect, then that's just what they adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, to me, it's so important that we teach our youth and that they learn how to respect the elders so that they can be able to walk in that respect themselves.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you this. And this was spoken earlier. Do you think a person that's not presenting themselves, an elder that's not presenting themselves in a respectful manner, they still should, and I'm coming this from what you said, uh respect is due. Are they due that respect if they're out there doing the thing that's disruptive, and the kids see them out there doing harmful things to a lot of people? Should they still be yes,
Well,
sir? And go ahead.
my boss said something that really made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily respect the person, but you have to respect the position.
Mm-hmm.
A person who walks in disrespect themselves, if because of their age,
Mm-hmm.
you respect the age, but their actions is what's disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some difference in that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, if you act like a butthole, then
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe that's what the respect you get, butthole respect. But if you're acting in character, then by all means you deem the respect.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to act like a butthole or you're going to act like less than what you are because of your age, then that's kind of, well, that's one of those, you know, watch the line. you know, and
Mm-hmm.
then now is your action going to cause others to act the same way?
Mm.
Is your action going to cause disrespect? Then you have to kind of
It could be
say,
a
hey,
ripple effect. It could be like a ripple effect type situation.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Ba-
absolutely.
Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was getting distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was just reading up on something that I just found out about in Texas, and as far as morals and everything goes, I grew up in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up, seeing color. I wasn't taught about it
Mm-hmm.
very much. I was told that certain people of certain heritage do get treated differently by different folks,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how they were brought up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always taught, it's how you're brought up. Um, but respect and honor community values are extremely important, and I'm teaching my kids about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people, the sir and ma'am they consider very respectful, and when you don't say that, they'll get offended.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's if they're respecting the person and as a whole, it shouldn't matter. To me, it shouldn't matter if they say sir or ma'am.
Mm. Okay.
If their actions is showing the respect,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's just as valuable as the words,
Okay. Okay.
if not more so.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Leonard, what do you say? Being from up north, is it practice and now living down south? What is the difference, or is there any difference?
I don't think there's much of a difference. I say good morning. I usually say what? Good morning, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Even when I write it, I write it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I
Exactly.
call people sir and ma'am, it's to practice humility,
Mm-hmm.
to let you know that I'm civil enough and and I'm more humble.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to call you sir or ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just courtesy and a shine of respect for your person.
Yes.
Now you can tie all that other slave crap into it if you would like,
Mm-hmm.
if you choose to. I mean, that's fine. But I do it as a sign of humility. But then again, I don't have a superiority complex either.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not concerned about what a person's opinion is. I'm extending you courtesy on behalf of me and my person
Yeah.
to call you sir or ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Now, Leonard, I think it was you that said some. If a person is out there acting a bobo,
Uh-huh.
do they really deserve to have that title bestowed upon them,
Well,
or that honor bestowed upon them? Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And you see them out there every day, not just someday, but every day. They acting a bobo every day.
mhm. Well, sir, you shouldn't behave that way
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to get you to elevate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to call you sir
Mm-hmm.
because that's something I want you to live up to. That's what I want you to value yourself that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I extend to you that courtesy. See, I'm not interested. I don't have to be first or anything. I practice a very humble life. Regardless of how many guns or how bad I may believe that I am, I'm still courteous to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's best that we train our children to be courteous to one another. They should
Absolutely.
be when they're talking to their friends.
Mm-hmm.
They should be human enough. Good morning, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, ma'am. You
Yeah.
should teach them to talk to young ladies that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like one, gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
or when you call a woman a lady.
I
Those are signs that help people elevate themselves, feel good about themselves.
you
So
know
that's why
Knight,
you do that.
you know Nathan Knight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan Knight, one of the things that I and actually I met from him
DeKalb County, NAACP, right?
absolutely. He's from my hometown. He was actually born in the same place, and found out that a little bit later. But he always says when he talks about it, he say, hey, good morning, ruler. Yeah, he always says, I was
Yep,
like, wow,
yep.
good morning, how you doing, ruler? And I'm like, wow, that's powerful. But people don't understand what it is. He's giving you something.
Right,
He's giving
right.
you, but and a lot of people don't know to receive it or don't know what it is. He's when he say that to you, and I know he know because he's a very intelligent young man. He say that, hey, good morning, ruler. Hey, what you want to do? What you think about that, ruler? And that's just his way, man. That's a gift that he's given. But Leonard, I think
Yes.
a lot of people miss it, man. I think a
Yes,
lot
a
of
lot of
people,
people miss that concept
yeah,
because
yeah,
they have a superiority complex,
mm-hmm,
and that's why they can't really they feel some type of way about it
yeah,
because they look on it as simply a black and white issue during slavery.
yeah, yeah,
That's the only time that's the only time they can picture that, and they
mm-hmm,
may have some personal feelings
yeah,
of
yeah,
being belittled
mm-hmm.
by that.
Because I remember the first time he said it to me. He said, hey, how you doing, ruler? I said, I looked at him, man. I was like, wow, thank you, man. Thank
And now that you mention it, the last time I was with Mr. Knight a few years ago when they were building the new Braves stadium,
you. Mm-hmm.
I remember him saying that.
Yeah. He said, man, like, I saw him. He was actually at the war show. We had a nice little conversation there, and because they honored him as well. And man,
That was another NAAC brother, my fault, from Cobb. He does it too,
mm-hmm.
but the old brother.
Yeah, I think I met him. As a matter of fact, they was having something at an art institution out here, and Nathan was there. Nathan actually introduced the gentleman to me. Man, Nathan's a great guy, man.
Oh yeah, he is. He really is.
He's a great guy. He really is.
Soldiers for
Yeah,
for the cause.
absolutely. We got another caller. Hold on, I'm coming to you in just 1 second. Right now, Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know, I was really thinking about where those words come from. You know, and I heard y'all hit on it about the courtesy thing. You know, and that word "sir" and "madam," it was meant as a proper word of respect,
Mm-hmm.
but it still began in Europe. You get what I'm saying? And so when certain other people introduced it to us and we learned it in a different context.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now we have certain words that we call ourselves adopting, like our women adopted the B word and embraced it as a term of endearment. We took the N word and embraced it as a term of endearment. But when we took the words sir and ma'am, somehow we did learn what the true original meanings of it was. But when it was introduced to us, I think it was introduced to us in a hard way. So like what Leonard said about the way you see it received sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people have abused the word. You know, I've seen people in anger take control of another person, and while they whooping them, you want some more? Nah, man, I'm good. Say sir. Say sir.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wait a minute. You trying to use that as a sign of domination.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So now as I use it, I know to be careful of somebody may want to abuse it or take it the wrong way by me giving them that respect. So I'm picky about when I do use the word, because I will use it. I've used it to young children before, young brothers, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. I use it just as a slang word.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I don't, you know, we have to be careful, and not even be careful, but be aware of the fact that sometimes we become indoctrinated to words and just use them as slang. Like I said, it's terms of endearment. But each person has their own way that they received it when they first got introduced to it. You know, like I said, I when I was first introduced to it, I was told that it was a sign of respect. But then as I started seeing it more as a sign of respect, it was in old slavery moves. Come here, boy. What school you go to, boy? What side of town? Who your man, Pappy, boy? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like, wait a minute. You know what? I ain't gonna use that mess. I'm seeing it being used predominantly as a way of people trying to show that they dominate somebody. So now that I know people will abuse that proper courteous word and take it and make it mean something else, like I said, it was a sign of respect. But now you're demanding respect from people that you are disrespecting. Nah, I ain't feeling. I'm gonna make sure that my sons feel comfortable saying it to people that deserve it and know they will receive it the right way, because some people will demand that you say yes, sir. Even in the military, you know, it sounds like a force. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, sir. Did you not say, sir? It's just like you forcing it. You can't force, courtesy. But I think it's the way it's received. Because I put the slavery contest to it because I heard it using that manner more. I'm gonna say not more. When I heard my parents and grandparents using it, they were using it as a sign of respect. But then when I looked at earlier uses of it, I saw it in that negative context.
Exactly.
And so that's why I say we come from so many different aspects and cultures, man. I mean, you said yourself up north, that ain't nothing that y'all normally do.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So now, if that's a northern southern thing, what else did the South do that the North did not normally do? I don't think nobody up north was on plantations being told to say yes, sir.
Exactly.
So what's your name? Toby.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and that's why I say it's a geographical. It can be a geographical thing. We got a couple of phone calls, and we're gonna go to the phone line. But right now, I want to hear what God has got on her heart. God has talked to me. On the phone line, mute your line for me. Mute your line on the phone line. Coming to you in just 1 second. Mute your line for me. Go ahead, Goddess. Goddess, what are you doing over there? You think you're going in and out? There you go. There you go.
Okay. Do you got me muted?
No, you had yourself muted.
Okay. Okay. Well, this yes, sir, and no, sir, I'm gonna have to agree with Leonard that I do it to humble myself, especially when I know that I need whatever I need and I can really just chop this person's face off with a few words, and I know me. So I humble myself, especially with and I do it in a sarcastic way, especially when I'm dealing with the opposite, those that are opposite of me. I'm gonna say the pale skin, white skin, people who you basically that they can make a decision. So I try to humble myself at times to let them know that I'm to get whatever I want. I'm not saying that's good or that's bad or anything like that. But sometimes I do humble myself with that. And even when they feel like they got the upper hand, they don't even know that what they're doing is going to put me in the upper hand. So maybe not in their point of view, in their eyes, but whatever I'm trying to do or whatever I'm trying to get. And I will say, okay, yes, sir. Have a great day, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. I will humble myself for it, but so far as when I know that you are just being a total butthead, because it takes ease when you go into some place and you want to get something and you need to get this done. I'm gonna give you an example. I just bought a car for my daughter the other day, and not even less than a month ago, and something's wrong with the car already. So I took the car back to the shop and to another dealership, and the dealership was like, well, we need to have the car checked out. I said, I don't care what you need to have the car checked out. The car is bone dry with no oil, and she didn't even have the car for 30 days. Let's go check that out before you give her a loan, before you decide not to give her a loan a car, But he was giving me, I guess he was giving me attitude. So when I started saying yes, sir, and yes, sir, he changed his whole direction. Whereas I already had an attorney on speed dial of what we're going to do. And I was just going to handle it that way. So you're going to give her a loaner car. And he was like, well, we need to figure out how it's going to be paid. With whoever pays for it, doesn't matter. She got warranty as long as extended warranty. And she just bought this car. But when I started saying yes, sir, his whole direction changed.
Yeah, it melted them out a little bit. Yeah.
It totally changed. And I did that because I knew that he was on some I feel like I'm superior. I feel like, so, okay, I'm going to let you feel like that for right now. But really, you're not knowing that I'm the one that's running this situation. So let me go. He goes, well, let's go have a seat and I'll see what I can do. We had that loaner car. So today I'll deal with some more issues dealing with it today. But yes, sir, and yes, ma'am is something that I use to humble myself. So therefore, I know to check myself. It ain't for them. It's for me to check myself.
That's good. That's good. Let's go to our phone lines. Toya with the T. Cassandra, I'm coming to you next. Toya with the T. What's on your heart? How do you feel about kids? Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. And all the proper, quote unquote, the proper mannerisms that they sometimes have. Should you teach? Should children be taught that? I couldn't even talk there for a second.
I know, right? That's just the stutter had
had me. It gripped me. It gripped me. I couldn't let it go.
that we might need to be talking about this right here, but no, you know what? I'm all about the respect thing, right? But the same way we use yes sir and yes ma'am, isn't it the same way with mommy and daddy? Or let them not call you mommy and daddy. Let you not been around them for a while, and they pull up talking about Raheem. You gonna want to straight up to? I told you, I'm your dad. If they come ask you for something, calling you Raheem instead of daddy, you ain't gonna move either. And when they say daddy, then you might get into daddy mode. We all know what this is. As humans, it's about respect. Absolutely. Society then already let us know where this yes sir, no sir stuff comes from. And you're right. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't have to say yes sir, no sir when I got to Georgia. But why am I do that to myself? I already know how the game goes.
Yeah.
And it kills me how we can fit in any other game. You go get in the drug game knowing you're going to get locked up or murdered. Now, you can do that, but no, I can't say yes sir, no sir to get what I need from the light company. It's all about respect. One thing why I made so much money in fast food is because I'm going to put you on the forefront. When you come sit down and talk and eat with me, you 87 years old, I'm going to call you young man and young woman. I'm going to say yes sir, no sir, because I understand the societal norms. I'm not going to have an issue with police. Why? Because I know they got issues with control. Most men, when it comes to women, got issues with control. Now, although I might not bow down to the man like I would the officer, but I know how to be able to utilize whatever I need to get out of situations. I know these cops don't want me going back and forth with them. Who cares about the rights and the laws that I know? I'm not going to be going back and forth with these clowns, man. For real. So it is all about respect. And we know this, but we want to get beside ourselves. You want to break out the norm and do what you want to do. And there's consequences to it. Period. You're right, Toby. You ain't got to call master boss master. You ain't got to say yes sir, no sir. But it's consequences when you run off out there in them woods, bro. When you run off out there in them woods and get caught because you don't want to say master boss or whatever. And you can make it to another land where you don't have to call nobody sir and ma'am. But we need to focus on the premise of sir and ma'am. We need to focus on the respect part.
Absolutely.
And not just, well, I don't want to do sir and ma'am. Has it been abused? Yeah, just like we abuse being parents to our children sometimes. But we can't count the whole outlook on respect over a group of people who tried to enslave me or the military. That's why I didn't join the military. Because you're not going to make me. I willingly, when you sign up for the military, you willingly sign up and say this is what you're going to do. I don't force you to do that. So you're signing something saying I'm agreeing with doing that. You know what I'm saying? For respect. I'm just not going to do it. You go ahead with the firing squad at. Because if I don't want to acknowledge you as a sir, go on and pull your pistol. Let's go. Because you can't make me do anything. And I think, once we get into perspective on what respect is and what rights I have and what rights you have as an individual, you're absolutely right. I don't have to respect you, Raheem. I never had to respect you. I could have been paying you to be on your show and not respect you. But when it comes time to renew that contract anyway, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about consequences, regardless of what's going on.
Exactly. Good deal. We got a couple of callers on the line. God has something that she want to do, so we're gonna make sure that we give her the time to do that as well. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing, young lady?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. What do you say to that? Is it important that these kids say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all the pleasantries? Is it okay that you teach them that? And is it a geographical thing?
Yeah, it is. It is. We need to teach. It's a part of respect. That's what Toya said. It's a part of respect. But Raheem, really quickly, I'm on my way to the doctor. I'm getting ready to walk in the office. But I wanted to call and say that on the chat that we have on Facebook, I wanted Leonard and you guys to look at the article from the newspaper in Charleston, South Carolina, or the TV station, whatever, about my nephew's death yesterday in police custody. He was a mental health patient that checked his own self into a mental hospital. And for some reason, someone, they said, they can't even get that straight. Someone called the police because he was being whatever, belligerent or whatever. But that's a part of the schizophrenia that he deals with. He gets argumentative, and he's a big kid, so he's very intimidating looking to people. And they called the police, and they put him in jail. And he called his mother and said that he would not. I feel like, I won't make it till tomorrow. I won't live to tomorrow. And so they did something to him, and he died yesterday. And so there's an investigation. They said the 2 guards were put on paid administrative leave. That right there concerns me.
Yes.
But I'm just asking you guys because I'm going to Charleston after my doctor's appointment today. So I'm going to
I think this.
What's his name?
They're saying, what's his name?
Jamal Sutherland.
Jamal Sutherland.
Yeah, the article, I sent the article on Facebook, inboxed it on that page where everybody, most of the people on our talk are on there. So you can see it there, the article from the television station. And I'm
when
going
you get a chance, Cassandra.
Swear to God, y'all please pray for me because I'm almost afraid I'm going to end up in jail. Because y'all not going to do that. Y'all not going to kill my nephew. And the thing that hurts me the most is he called me and said, Auntie, I'm having these feelings. I feel like somebody is trying to kill me. This was his exact words. He said, I feel like somebody's trying to kill me. And that is a part of his schizophrenia. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact that he ended up dying, and he said, what do you think? I feel like I need to check myself in. I said, if that's what makes you feel safe, then if you feel like that's the safe place to be, the hospital, then do it. And then my nephew dies. Y'all, I can't even explain to y'all the pain that I feel for this right now, man. I've never cried so much in my life. So I just ask you to pray for me. I'm actually at the doctor's now getting ready my neurology. I've got that going on too. So just, pray for me and my family as I head to Charleston.
When you get a chance, Cassandra, please send us the correct spelling of his name in that post.
Okay. I will.
Cassandra.
But if you go to it, Leonard, on our page, you will his name, I think everything is right there.
Yeah, I've read it, but the article doesn't mention his name at all.
Oh, it does. Okay. So I'm gonna I'll send it to you, and y'all please pray for me because I'm
looking on Google now and I don't see anything.
Okay. Let's do this right here.
Okay.
Hold on, Cassandra. I know you got to go, but hold on for 1 second. Minister Neil, you there? Minister Neil, you there?
Yeah, hey, I was really calling you, man, just to wish you happy birthday, my dear brother.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
It's a little sidebar.
That's right,
man. But I want to wish you happy birthday. I'm in between something, but I just heard my dear sister speak about her nephew, and my heart goes out to her and her family.
Are you in a position where you can pray real quick for us, brother?
yeah, no, man. It's always prayers, always. In effect,
Say a prayer. Yes, sir.
Blessed, gracious, and wonderful Father, we come to you at an hour right now to give strength to dear sister and her family. We ask you right in the name of Jesus to strengthen them and give them the outcome that only justice can rain down from heaven. Giving her the strength to combat the devil, combat the enemy, combat the misdoing of her family member. Well, we ask you right in the name of Jesus to strengthen his mother and his father, and his brothers, and whoever who's in contact with him in this channel. We thank you right now, Lord, that you have already claimed the victory, that is always going to be won, that is already going to be defeated, that is always going to be triumphed through the name of Jesus. Lord, we ask you right now to give her traveling mercy. Lord, we ask you right now to give her the right mind to strengthen the people who are weak right now. We thank you right now, Lord, for all that you have done and what you continue to do. And Lord, we ask you right now to let victory rain down from heaven right now, Lord. Let it be a dew on the morning grass. We ask you right now, Lord, to strengthen her and keep her, and keep that family, and keep that soul, Lord, and know that he's with King Jesus right now. We thank you and we love you. And when it's the last thing that we can say and that we can't do, we just want to say thank you for what you're going to do. In the blessed sweet name of Jesus Christ, I do pray. Amen. Hey, I got to get back in this bubble. Hey, y'all be safe. And
appreciate you, brother.
My dear sister, I'm definitely praying for you and your safe travel. And understand something that don't let the devil use you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can tell you. Don't let him use you. Don't let him use you. All right, y'all. Hey, y'all be safe, man. Love you. Hey. And again, Sunday school, man. Happy 60th birthday, doctor. Happy 60th birthday, man.
This dude says 60. Lord, my Jesus. Hey, appreciate you, man.
I'm sorry. My bad. I mean, that's right. 100. Okay. My bad. Y'all be safe. Let me get back in this bubble.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
All right, no problem. All right.
Man, this is Cassandra.
Yes.
You know, sister, we love you, sister. You definitely in our prayers. We're gonna continuously pray for you. Keep us posted, and if you need us, just give us a call. We right here.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
And I'll keep you updated.
Okay.
Once I get to
Okay.
Where's this post at?
I'm definitely gonna reach out to you. Okay.
Okay.
Good deal.
All right.
Good deal. Donald, Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
There's a lot of things happen. All we got is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have things happen just like quicker than a twinkling of an eye. Mm-hmm. We might as well get ready.
Yeah.
Because it's here now.
Mm-hmm.
Life as we know it will change in a heartbeat. So anyway, let me say this. I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to walk around trying to prove or show somebody that I'm a black man.
Mm-hmm.
All I got to do is be one.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the giving and getting respect, it don't take nothing from me to give it, but I'm sure enough going to demand it at the same time. I'm not asking you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't give it, then, I can live my life without you, period.
Mm-hmm.
This slave mentality, I don't have none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to look up nothing to figure, because it's the way that I was personally raised.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because my father and mother was scared or afraid of anybody because of their skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
Dad wasn't scared of nobody. and he made sure that he wasn't raising a bunch of boys and little girls. Their aim was to raise men and women. Not necessarily to prove, walk around here and say, hey, I'm black, I'm black.
Yeah.
You know, or the white man coming. I'm studying him. Look him in the eye. When you shake his hand, make sure it's firm. And say, whoever you're talking to, regardless of whether they're young or old, especially if they're elderly, say yes, ma'am, and no, sir. If they do something for you, say thank you.
Yes.
Be courteous at all times. It's just, that's all it is, common courtesy. It don't take nothing from me.
Exactly.
You know, let me say this and I shut up. Even when the authorities, police and people like that, look them in the eye, treat them the same way. Don't get out the car acting a fool. Because you're going to have problems. Sometimes, you know, we I don't know. Sometimes, let me say this. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
So, young man.
Yes, sir. I'm going to put this a post up here that somebody, Rico, if you don't, my brother, I want you to read this for me. We're to put it up here and read it. And I want to comment on this and have us to comment on this as well. Read that there for me, Rico.
May I please learn something from you guys? The minority community is more familiar with, what he said, the minority community I'm more familiar with are Native Americans. They speak of generational trauma. Is that something that African American feels they deal with? And if so, how does a white guy who can't count the number of African Americans I've known in my life on one hand to be respectful and your mission to resolve it? Man, that's a perfect question. Perfect question.
And aid you in your mission. He said the word was aid, and aid you in your mission.
Aid me, okay, I couldn't see it too good. I'm looking at it on the phone. But that was a good question, man. And I'm reading a book. You know, I go live every day reading books. And the book I'm reading now is called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. It's written by a Nigerian American. His parents were immigrants. He grew up in middle-class neighborhoods, went to private schools, and grew up around majority white people. And these white people always told him while he was young coming up that he seemed like he was a white man in a black man's body. Well, anyway, Emmanuel Ochoa ended up going to play pro football in the NFL. And as he got out into this world, he started seeing that it didn't matter that his parents were immigrant. It didn't matter that he was Nigerian American. It didn't matter that he grew up in a upper middle class neighborhood and went to white private schools. He found out that he was a black man. And so he started making all of these different points about the different struggles and the different pressures, added weight on the shoulders of being black, the different things that you have to experience that the other person doesn't have to experience, the stereotypes. And a lot of white people deny this. He even discusses the subliminal racism that some of them practice and they don't even realize it. And what he means by that is the bias and the privilege that they benefit from just by being white. The benefit of the doubt that some white people get just by being white. The natural respect that cops give them. You know, like for instance, I can say myself, I've seen car accidents where it was a white person and a black person, and the cops would go talk to the white people first. But the black people may have called the police. Same thing when you call the police on a woman. I went to jail one time and I was the one called the police, but he went and talked to the woman first and she lied and they put me in jail and asked me a question. But I was the one called the police. So, you know, there's a benefit of the doubt, and then there's a benefit of suspicion that the black man receives subliminally. Subconsciously, it comes with words like thugs. It comes with clothes like hoodies. You get what I'm saying? A white person can wear a hoodie and they don't have to worry about it. So these conversations need to be had because they're uncomfortable. And sometimes we have to admit that they exist. This book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. So it was like it's big that Badger brought that up. Is because this is a discussion that I'm having right now. This book I may be finished with it. Well, I would have been finished with it in a couple of days had somebody not gave me a suspension.
I didn't bring it up, by the way, Rico. It was somebody in the Twitch chat that asked.
Yeah,
all right. And so the atmosphere is up there. It must be in the universe for us to sit down and have these discussions because there are some things that even some black people deny we go through. Other black people could say, man, you don't know, you ain't went through it. This is what I'm going through, and it is race-based. And so the big thing now is reaching across the table, and it's not exactly just handing out an olive branch, but just meeting us in the middle of the bridge and sitting down and having a conversation on what we really go through and why we do perceive things the way we perceive it. Why would I'll put it to this way, why would I teach my son to be the most courteous and most respectful? And all my life, all people talked about how courteous and respectful my sons were. But at the same time, I made it to the point where it wasn't recognized that they didn't use the word sir or ma'am. Because there are other ways. See, if somebody demands that you come back and call them sir or ma'am, then they taking it the wrong way. Especially if you showing them so much other respect in so many other ways. You get what I'm saying? There are so many other ways that you can show somebody respect that if you don't use those words, it shouldn't be recognized. You know, but that going back to that question, man, that's a deep question, and I don't know if I answered that question, but it is a problem that we're going through now. How he can help in that mission, sitting down and having conversations with people that have been incarcerated falsely, people that have lost 15 or 20 years and went through the judicial system, and everybody hid evidence. You know, and so many different issues. Talk to a lot of these black men that's been released from prison or that's been over sentenced compared to a sentence that they know somebody else got a lesser sentence on. That's how you do it, and you confront the facts, and then you go ahead and say, well, you know what, even though I might not be able to see it through your eyes and experience it, it's seen right here that this is not equal, this is not fair. This person committed this crime and got this amount of time, and then went to the same judge in the same county, did this lesser crime and got more time. So these conversations have to be had because the facts are out there.
Good deal.
Hey, I want to add something to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Help start petitions. Look up the laws and help vote for the bills, and that can be passed into laws that help promote equality for everyone.
That's good. That's good. Redeem, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, this is a whole lot of good stuff, and just I really can appreciate all of this. And I think another thing that young man could do who sent that really good question in is just making sure that when he sees it, make sure he stands up for what's right. Especially if he knows it's going on, make your voice be heard.
Yes.
You know, and it's something that if you paid attention to after George Floyd's incident, when white folk began to step up because they knew enough was enough. They knew what was wrong, and they've known all the time. But because they felt, well, my voice is not going to make a difference. But when your voice makes a difference, and then somebody who knows you or who's there with you, they stand up with you, then enough people begin to stand up and say, hey, listen, I'm not that color, but I know that's wrong, and we're not going to tolerate it. When you step up and when you say, hey, enough is enough, then more and more people will start doing the exact same thing. And if you paid attention, that's what happened with George Floyd's death. It made a difference. It hit a marker that says we will not tolerate this anymore.
Exactly.
And when more people start standing up for what's right, not what they feel, but what's right, then differences start to change. You can make petitions, and petitions have been coming along for a long time. But because folks not standing up for what's right, the petitions are just sitting there. Look at Mitch McConnell's death. Those laws and have been, well, they're not laws yet, But all of the things that have been voted on to make laws, legislation, they're sitting there. And that's what's been happening for so many years. Petitions have been sitting there. But when not enough people stand up because they want to make a difference, because they're going to make a difference, because they say enough is enough, that's when things start to change. And you got to stand the way, what you can do is say, I will not tolerate that because it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not black, but I see right and I see wrong, and I'm not standing up for what's wrong any longer. And when we all start doing that, when we take a stand on what's right and just say, you know what, I won't tolerate the wrong anymore, enough is enough, then things are going to start changing. Something's going to start happening. But until we actually get to that point, and I'm grateful for what's happening in the runoff elections. I'm grateful for what's happening with people saying, Donald Trump, we ain't going to stand for this no more. And all of the other injustices, enough is enough. We still got a ways to go, but we're making that step. We're standing up and saying, hey, no more. That enough is enough.
Exactly.
And it's not just about me because I'm white, but it's about all of us. We are one nation under God. And when we start standing up for each other, then things will start to change.
Exactly. And one thing of advice, we got a couple of phone calls. I'm going to go to the phone callers as well, and we definitely want to talk to everybody that's here. One of the things that I say that I think will probably make a difference, if you see something, if you see an injustice that's being done to somebody, if you see an injustice that's been done to a little boy, a little black boy, a little anybody, and you look at that individual and you think to yourself, if that was my child, if that was my nephew, if that was my brother, would what's happening right now, would it be okay? Would it be okay if that was my family member? Would it be okay if I sit and I saw, would I stand by and I just watch it if that was my family member? If George Floyd, if somebody would look on and say, hold on, if that's my brother, would I be so apt to just taking out a phone and videoing it? Would I be okay with just videoing it? Or would I want to step in there and do something and get this knee off my brother's neck? What would I want to do? And if we took that stance and we looked at it in that way and visualized them as our family, as somebody that's near and dear to us, to our heart, will we take the same stance?
You know what's amazing though, Raheem?
What's that?
Is that you're hearing more white people across the board asking those questions that of the same question that you just had me read. They want to know now, even the ones that don't know many black people. It took that George Floyd video for them to finally say, you know what, man, it's been a lot of times I've seen these videos and I said, well, maybe it was justified. Maybe he did this wrong. Maybe he should have complied. But then that George Floyd video, that was a line drawer. So now you hearing these people that barely even know black people saying, you know what, man, what do we have to do? I've been ignoring the inequalities that y'all been complaining about. We've been ignoring the movies Just Mercy and all these people being released from prison. What can we do now? Because now I can't ignore it anymore. That tape was enough. That man, he laid there long enough and he cried for his mama. And when he called out for his mama, that man had his hand in his pocket, pushing down on his knee a little bit harder and looking at everybody like, look at y'all, look at me, y'all. I'm about to take his life in front of y'all, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing because I got the power. And I didn't like the way that looked. So now I want to know, what can we do? What are these men actually going through? Because this dude didn't do it behind the corner. He did it in front of the world. What can we do now?
Exactly.
And you know, excuse me for coming back in, but that didn't just resonate here in the United States of America. That resonated around the world. And again, folks have been saying for a long time, they've seen the injustices and they've been saying, well, you know, again, just like my brother just said, you know, well, I guess maybe that wasn't so bad. But finally, it got to a point. George Floyd said something to his daughter, baby, we're going to change the world. But he didn't even realize what it was the Spirit of God was actually moving and telling him, because he was showing him.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
I'll try to call somebody back.
And that's what And that's what God is actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what God is actually doing. And right now, people around the world are saying, again, enough is enough. God said, cast everything on me. I got you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's time for change.
Absolutely.
100 years of suppression is enough.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's enough. And so, man, this is so touching. That letter, that note that young man just wrote, I don't think he even realized what that message that he just wrote on your show, Ryan. And I want to say happy birthday before I go any further to
Thank
you
you. I
too,
appreciate it.
my
Yes, sir.
brother.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that. But
Mm-hmm.
I thank God for this program and
Praise God.
for the people that have stepped up and said enough is
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Good deal. Good deal. Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Appreciate the prayer last night.
Yes, sir.
And want to just keep my wife and the family in prayers and things. Say happy birthday, my brother. Happy birthday. You still just young. You still wet behind the ear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm good at that. I'm pleased with that. Good. Good. Oh, that's a terminology that people been using for a long time. I don't know what it means, but it gotta mean something good. Gotta mean I'm still young. I guess. I guess that's what it means.
That's what it means.
Oh, okay.
You still
Okay.
young.
Okay.
You still young. You young and green. I'm surprised Leonard ain't told you that.
Young. This joker done called me young and green. Lord. Lord, my Jesus, boy, look at him. Boy, them gut punches are coming today. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I'm thinking about a lot of things right now because it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys know I do research and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us do. And, talking about protests all around the world, I've been looking into that and talking to other people around the world. Matter of fact, I'm hoping soon we should have a Scotsman
Mm-hmm.
that's wanting to be a part of this call and share some of his perspectives over where he lives.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And the things that he sees and notices.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it very interesting that around the world, people are getting tired of this control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that what's going on in the world right now, as far as the labels go, it boils down to the terminology of black versus white or white versus black, depending on a person's perception.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you look at the symbology of it, oh, I thought I said something and Goddess is like, oh no, here we go.
Oh no, I was just thinking about something that you said. So no.
Okay. Some people view the color white as being righteous and all that stuff, but now people are like, no, this black over here, a lot of these people that are being shot or judged or whatever, some of these people are lawyers. They fight for what's right and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting when you start looking at the symbology of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I brought up the topic the other day about the Moors.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things have been stemmed through research starting from them, as far as this control factor goes. And it's almost seeming like it's become full circle. People are wanting to get away from that mentality because people can't follow a natural way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The closer a person wants to work to get that relationship with great mystery, of creation of all things, the people in control want to shut it down. They don't want people to come together. They want to keep us separated. They want to keep us apart. But now people are like, screw you.
Mm-hmm.
This is wrong. We need to stick together. We are all one. There's a Lakota saying in their language, Matakuwe, I might be mispronouncing that, and I hope no one yells at me for it. Matakuwe Owasin. And it's we are all one.
You say Johnny Lawson.
Oh, awesome. I've seen that before.
I'm probably butchering the term or mispronouncing it because native language has a whole different set of syllables.
Yes.
But yet at the same time, it's very interesting looking at that perspective.
Let me why you I see
go ahead.
you doing some research. Let me go. I'm gonna go to Toya with a T, then I'm coming to Goddess after that. Toya, what's on your heart?
Well, we've covered a lot. I don't know where to start. First of all, no, can no officer do nothing to nobody in my face like you did to George Floyd, because my little 5'3", 130 pounds would be dead. I'm not going to do that. And one thing that I've learned dealing with God, don't no officer get to roll over me. Don't no judge get to roll over me. Don't no president. You don't get to tell me what to do and how to act if it ain't right. You better be within the righteous ways of doing things, because you're not going to do that in front of me and think I'm really going to care. And as far as death is concerned, I'm going to die anyway. One day. So if I got to give it up trying to help somebody from getting murdered, then let's go, man. It's only but so much I'm going to allow. Well, first of all bets is off. Once the Lord intervened and was like, hey, I'm your ruler, I don't care nothing about the United States, man. They can have whatever laws and rules. You can do all that. That's not for me. You understand what I'm saying? But in the midst of what we're going through today, we should have been tired. We've been doing this for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And I'm a firm believer that this is all God's doing. It's scary. We never wanted to fight against Master Boss anyway. It wasn't but 17 of us that wanted to run. And the other 17 was in the house with the Master. So at the end of the day, this is God making us get up. This ain't right. And you so scared. Oh, I can't lose my house. Oh, I can't lose my car. Oh, I can't lose my job. Oh, I can't lose that. But people out here losing their lives, and best believe it can be you. It can be your nephew. Keep walking around here acting like it can't happen, because it's an overall agenda seeking whom it may devour. So, it's funny how, we have these conversations on something that we knew all of our lives. And I'm not trying to, take anything from anyone, but when it comes to my folks, knowing the story on what they did to the Indians, none of us need to be talking about who land the sea is up over here. Like, we really need to start course correcting some things. We really need to start going back. I know that's what the Lord told me, and I know that's what the Lord told the United States. We need to start going back, righting some of our wrongs. There are some things the United States need to fix with the Native Americans. There are some things the United States need to fix with the African Americans that's here. There are some things the United States need to fix across the board.
Yes.
And until we do that, we're going to continue to have a problem. And I just said it yesterday. I'm not going to get taken out for the likes of these humans walking around here, because nobody wants to challenge the truth. Nobody wants to stand up and say what thus saith the Lord. But we all sit up here, acting like we don't have power. Yes, we do. Yeah, we need to be with Cassandra right there in front of that stress office, because it's getting ridiculous. And when I tell you this whole pandemic, we need to be every American need to be in front of an official's doorstep until they run that bread. But we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. We want to listen to them tell us this, that, and the third. We want to bypass our common sense. We want to listen to George Floyd should resist it. No, an officer does not have the right. And with the history of America and their lies to lock up Black men, we shouldn't even have capital punishment, but we'll still be so blinded by hatred and overlook the wrongdoing to get something that is a mirage. We don't even care. All bets is off, man. And I'm telling you, in 2021, it ain't up to us no more. The Lord is going to not leave no stone unturned. And if there's an opportunity where we can stick together and unite, it need to first be against America, and then we can work from there.
And see, that's the very key thing that you say right there. We have to get together and unite and come together and fight against the cause or the demons that's trying to take us out. God, is what's on your heart?
I'm gonna go all the way to the fact that happy birthday,
Thank you, sis.
Raheem. Also, I want to speak on Jerome Dickey. He was one of the main Black authors that that was really big as doing Black families, and also Marvel comics like Storm and Black Panther. He was huge in the novelist field as a Black novelist, and he just passed away. So
I didn't know that.
Prayers up to him.
Yes.
He was a great man that we lost because we fail to read as Blacks. Reading is something that we, as a community, we don't do all the time. And I'm gonna take that to George Floyd. We didn't have to read on that one. When he called out mamas, it hit every household, even some of our allies. As a mama, you know, it hit Mother Nature. I'm gonna take it on the Indian point of view. It hit Mother Nature. And when it hit, it went through it sent a frequency of 432, which is what the world is built off of. Everything goes on a 432 frequency, not the nature does. And it hit worldwide. And that frequency is still being gone. It's still going. It hit Georgia. Right now, it's going through Georgia. And it's making a big turn. It's making a big difference. And it's letting people know that. And when it comes to our white allies, when we say allies, that means we feel that you're part of us. Although I say that I'm pro-Black, don't mean that I'm anti-white. And when I did the biggest protest here in Kansas City, which we raised $2.5 million for vests that they said that they could not do. And they said they couldn't, they had the money and they didn't spend it. The police department had the money. Well, our protest wasn't just for George Floyd. Our protest was for all the Black men and the women that were shot and killed here in Kansas City. He sparked something, but we took it and we made it something here, and a lot of other states made it something there. And that was just weird how you could take another incident. Not weird. This is something that's been going on throughout centuries, where you could take another incident that happened in a different state that your whole state has been fighting for the longest. Each state, they can go back and say, hey, man, we had about 5 or 6 people killed by the police wrongfully. But you sit back and you watch some of these laws that are being placed, that are being done as of right now. We have an attorney, and see, we got to start standing behind some of these attorneys, but you also got to start watching some of these attorneys and what they're doing. They bringing stuff to the light. They putting money in their pocket, and that's grand. But we got to start getting some laws passed. So when these white allies get on, they start asking questions like, what can we do? Let's get some of these laws passed that's going to change some of this. This racism that's going on.
Absolutely.
This police brutality that's going on. We had an attorney here in Kansas City by the name of Stacey Shaw, who they still protesting here in Kansas City. We ain't stopped. And they go in front of the police department every time. And it's a old statue that's there that represents from back in the day of before police, what they call it, where they do the slave patrols. Well, they even had it back in the day where they were honoring all these people. So we chose that as a where we put Black Lives Matter, and we just lay a sign up on it. And they're still facing police brutality just by peacefully protesting. So one of our attorneys mentioned, like, hey, we know where you live at. We know what you're doing. Now there's a doxing law because she stated that. She didn't state it where she was going to go do anything harmful, but we were going to, I guess her idea was she was going to put them out there. Police so-and-so is a bad police officer. So-and-so is a bad police officer. He lives here and his wife works here. Well, they call it doxing. So now we have a guy that's trying to place a law and make it a federal law for doxing officers. But they can put that in place so quickly before they can put anything else in place. I have a problem with that. So.
Absolutely. We got another caller from the 424 area code. 424 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, how you doing? My name is Tony, known as Tom Wong Tony. Currently I'm in Illinois.
Hey, and Tony, what's going on, Tony? How you doing, man?
What's up, Tony?
Right. So what's called guy Wade Badger. He invited me to check out your platform. And
good to have you.
I like to excuse me?
I said good to have you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to be here. I was just listening to this woman here speaking, and she's saying some great things. I would like to encourage you all in your audience as well to look into actual law yourselves, right? Get yourselves legal dictionaries. You have Black's Law, second and fourth editions are great. You have Ballantyne's Law Dictionaries. You also have Bouvier's Law Dictionaries. You can get these for free. Now, when you do something as simple as defining attorney and comparing that definition to lawyer, you will see two different definitions, right? I'm going to say that there. I'm more than willing to share more about it, but I just want to proceed, right? So when we have these bar members, right? Attorneys, bar members. When we have these people representing for natural people, because this is language which is excluded from legal matters. You know what I'm saying? No one talks about the natural people. You know what I'm saying? You have the natural inhabitants of the Americas, this continent of America, particularly here in North America, known as United States Corporation, right? When we address the true history and the true nature of things, this is where we can get to the core of these issues that has plagued our American peoples for so long. These bar members, okay, they serve the interests of the state. The state is a corporation. We cannot negate from this truth. It is known in U.S. code and CFRs that corporations are fictitious entities. So the question that natural people need to ask, how is it that an unnatural entity is impacting the life of natural people, communities, etc.? Because this is the true history of North America, this U.S. territory here. The 13 colonies were all companies, Virginia Company, Rhode Island Company, etc. You got the Ohio Company, Mississippi Company, etc. With all these foreign companies that came to America with their laws coming from their countries, imposing their laws onto our American people's nation's laws. We're talking about usurpation here. And when we have quote unquote Black people not knowing that the truth of the matter is you're not Black. Black strips you of your true identity. We have bloodlines. Your bloodlines pertain to which nations you descend from. You're contributing to your own ethnocide when you accept this black identity that the foreigners have imposed on you through their caste and class systems. And when we have quote unquote black people that are in positions of influence, positions of quote unquote authority, that are communicating knowingly, intentionally to their constituents, to the people in which gave them, uplifted them into positions of influence, and these people are not telling these communities and these populations that they're not black fundamentally, that contributes to more confusion, that contributes to more despair, and pretty much every synonym of the term black itself. All the death, all the misery, all the suffering, the calamity, disastrous, everything. There are fundamental issues that have to be corrected. And if it is not corrected, well, we can expect more of all the synonyms of black until we are literally blacked out of existence. And that is the overall agenda of these foreigners.
Absolutely. Rico, what's on your heart?
I get excited.
No, hey, man, that's good, man. Stay right there where you are, brother. Don't go nowhere. Rico, what's on your heart?
I think you had a few more people that you hadn't hit on since our last talk. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get some of them, and then I'll come back around. But happy birthday to you, man, before I let that get by me, because they keep on getting by me, you know what I'm saying? And you know you're supposed to have your Burger King hat on up, and now you know you're going to Burger King later on to get the big birthday bill.
Man, I'm going down what's the thing? Provino, they feed on your birthday. I'm going down there to do the Italian restaurant. Yes, sir. I'm going down there and see him. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh man, I'm just listening. You know, the conversation is going well, but you know, a lot of people have to realize with that one comment, fight it where you at.
Come on,
fight it where you're at. You ain't got to go far to look for racism. It's right outside your front door. You don't need me in Atlanta, and you got issues in Texas. Fight your Texas in Texas. I'm gonna fight my issues here, and then we move forward. And hopefully, that's the thing. If people don't understand, is this? You know, I'm not really caught up in identity crisis. I just want people to have freedom, and I want us to be governed righteously. That's my thing. I happen to be black, by the way. I don't have a problem with being who I am, because it's about righteousness for me. It's not about me. It's about what's right. I can stand right over here and mind my own business. Why can't you? Every person in America has contributed to what America is. And it's going to take everybody to fix it. Especially if you're going to plan on being here and living in peace. I don't want anything to happen, like say for instance with Miss Cassandra. I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone.
Exactly.
I don't care what color they are. We have to fight against injustice, not personal preference. Injustice.
Yes.
We're all not going to just be hugging and kissing. That's not the goal of democracy. The goal of democracy is that people participate and choose their own government. That's what the republic is about. People choosing their own government. Now you can create whatever you like on the side and get pulled away with conspiracy and everything else. But you must find the truth of the matter. You have to quit saying they. No, go find out who they are and start using their name and calling them out for who they are, so your allies know who to attack. This is a strategic mission. You can't just be running around willy-nilly crying in your feelings. No, aim at your target and take it out. If, just like Goddess says, when you're an activist, you go find a way to remove an official. If you need 50,000 signatures to get a referendum or whatever it may be in your state, then you have to do that, because that's how it's done. The reason why we have these issues is because folks ain't been doing what they're supposed to do. Too busy enjoying the fruits of your labor. And it's easy to do. It's easy to look the other way. It's just that one, we have to be really concerned about this issue, just like we're concerned about our children. That's why we should vote. If you're tired of black men being treated unjustly, guess what? You got to change the power structure.
Yes, sir.
They're not going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to show up in numbers, and you have to take that. It's great to be in a democracy. You can go right and do it at the ballot box.
Mm-hmm.
They do it, what, every 2 to 4 to 6 years?
Yep.
So what have you been doing?
Take your power back.
Come out to these, like my man Badger says, talk to the guy about that question he posted. And white folks on what can we do? Do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I would do. When I'm in a situation, I try to do the right thing. I'm not trying to fight racism, but guess what? Racism is that bad and that wrong. And it's on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I fight against. If I see, like Rico, if somebody being treated unjustly at the job, I think Rico said he was a union steward.
Yes.
I'm union for life, but I was a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So the attitude was already there. Well, he a manager. He don't care. Sit down with me. I'm the union stewards get mad at me because my meetings last so short. I got 10 minutes to give you. I want to know how I violated the contract. I don't need to just show all this power I got against you with this pen. If you have an issue, I know I'll see you 2 or 3 more times.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't got to get you right now. I'll let you hang yourself. So we have to be concentrated on doing the right thing. White people want to know what you can do. You know what you can do. Do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let's go to Toussaint. Then we're gonna go to Bishop. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
I think that,
hold on, caller. We're gonna come to you in just 1 second. Go ahead, Toussaint.
If we just seek righteousness, we'll be all better off.
Mm-hmm.
That's just so simple. That's
Mm-hmm.
simple. I mean, it'll get rid of a lot of things. And somebody said, "Well, what can you do to help?" Just like Leonard was saying, just seek righteousness. I'm not trying to be better than nobody. I'm not trying to catch up with nobody. I'm not trying to keep up with nobody.
Yes, sir.
I'm comfortable. Like I said before, I'm comfortable with me.
Mm-hmm.
I got 6 months to mind my business, and 6 months I leave yours alone, and we fine.
Yeah.
Do it like that. Let's do that.
That should cover a good little stretch, huh?
I'm trying to tell you.
There you go. We're gonna go to our Bishop. Then we got a call from the 470 area code. We coming to you next. Bishop, what's on your heart?
I'm listening to the conversation, man. It's very needed. Talk about what we go through and where we need to be. Working together is one of the key things that I oftentimes emphasize. And I don't look at race. I tell people all the time, I don't look at the race of the man, but I do know the journey and the struggle that Black individuals go through. And I really wish a lot of times we would pay more attention, and I'm talking about collectively, to our journey and then work together to better our situation across the board. You heard me say many times that Blacks themselves are a divided nation because one feels a certain way and another feels, I think Malcolm summed it up, house Negro and field Negro. And I said we got to get our minds acclimated to working together to better our situation for us instead of trying to tear one another down. And if we can work together as a race, and we can work together as a people, as a whole. So, great topic, man. Of course, I appreciate you, appreciate the show, and happy birthday again.
What happened? I missed the last part you said.
I said, and happy birthday again. What did I tell you yesterday? I'm gonna keep your birthday.
I don't think I'm gonna forget, sir. I appreciate it, but I think I might remember. How many more times you got? You said 15.
Yeah. So you want me to go straight? 15. Happy birthday 15 times?
No. We'll come back to that, brother. We'll come back to it. We got a call from the 470 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Mimi Harris. This is off topic, but your grandkids woke up wanting to tell you happy birthday.
Well, tell them, put them on the phone. Put them on the phone. That's my babies right there. Where they at? Hey, boo boo. Hey, boo boo. How you doing, boo boo? Yeah. What you doing?
Happy birthday. Go ahead.
Happy birthday
For the people, happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, boo boo. Boy, yeah, look, boy, they gonna make my eyes sweat around here. Y'all better cut that out, boy. Y'all gonna make my eyes
He said make his eyes sweat.
Y'all gonna make my eyes start sweating. Y'all better stop that.
You want your people.
I love you, boo boo.
I love you too, people. All right. Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Hello,
baby.
everyone.
Hello.
Boy, they look here. Boy, they look here. They pulling out the big guns, boy. Gonna make my eyes get to sweating right here, Leonard. My eyes gonna start sweating. Boy, my eyes are sweating now.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, man.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
The fight is not for us.
Yeah.
When we see them, it's all worth it.
Yes, sir.
This is what it's all about. If we don't do something now, the question is, what about them?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say.
Man, look here. That's my heart there, man. Hey, I tell the world that's my heart, man. Love my babies, man. Love my babies, man. Look here. How the thing say? I beat up a rock and put a brick in the hospital. Somebody mess with them. Every day of the week. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? I'm kind of shook right now. What's
yeah, man. I know how it is, man. I know how you feeling, man. I know I'm happy for you too, man. To get that kind of response from your grandchildren.
Sure.
You know, I really like the direction that the universe is going in now. You know, we still seeing a lot of turmoil. I'm gonna put it this way: we seeing a lot of extreme rebellion from the devil, from the evil. Right. You know, they rebelling in a big way because the time is up. You can see it; it's all in the atmosphere. And it is actually starting to happen with a lot less arguing or trying to convince people to get involved. People doing it on their own. It's the effort is being made naturally now.
Right.
Right. That book that I'm reading, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, was sent to me by a white woman from Tennessee.
Wow.
This is her second book sent to me. The first book she sent me, actually, she is the one that actually motivated me to start doing this reading. She sent me my first book. It was called Iceman Inheritance: Prehistoric Man's Sources of Racism, Sexism, and Aggression. And I read that book, man, and it got so scientific about where racism came from and why. You know, it got genetic. And I was like, man, that's deep for a white woman to send me this book. So she sent me this which is a new book. This guy just wrote this book in 2020. She sent me that book, man, right before Christmas. That was my Christmas present.
There you go.
And you know what? The question that the guy asked is the same question is the reason why that man wrote that book. And you know, if anybody's looking at this, you know, of the opposite race that wants to find a way to make a difference or to help, I'm gonna just say, find out for yourself. Make an effort. You know, sometimes we have stereotypes. Black people have stereotypes about white people. Chinese people, yellow people, everybody has stereotypes, men and women. But you have to find out for yourself, you know, do the research and meet people for yourself to find out. Ask yourself, self-reflect, do some self-analyzation and ask yourself, you know what, am I telling people I'm not racist, but then when I see certain black dudes, I'm locking my door? Because if you are, guess what? You are subconsciously racist. And I've seen it. I was in the car. Listen, the woman that I did my first radio show with, that likes black men, right? One day we left the broadcast and went to the QT up in your gas station, up in your studio, and it was a suspicious looking black guy now. And we pulled up and I seen a look on her eyes. I said, uh-oh, she feeling a little weird. And I made sure that I paid attention to what she was gonna do when I got up out that car. And I got up out that car, click, click, click. I said she was scared. I mean, she just don't even realize she still shows some kind of bias and prejudgment. Prejudge is the base word of prejudice.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you do your research, it's easy for you to hold yourself accountable and say, you know what? Yes, I am playing a part of this bias and these stereotypes and these labels that cause confusion and racism, because I'm prejudiced myself to a certain extent, and some of it is learned behavior. Just can't help it. You know, sometimes we hear these words, that's just the way it is. But if you research it, you'll understand it was intentional. You'll understand that the 3/5 human thing came from electoral college, agendas.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about votes. It wasn't even that they just thought we were less than men. It was just for the fact that they wanted to make sure that we wasn't counted as a total vote, so the South could keep a certain amount of control.
Yep. Hey, Rico, somebody's saying something to you right there, man. They want to know, can you repeat the name of the book?
Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
By Emmanuel Acho, ACHO. I'll show you a picture of it a picture of him is on the back of the book. And the other book is Iceman Inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the book looks like, and this is a picture of him. He's a former pro football player. He actually played with the Eagles with Riley Cooper when Riley Cooper said that he whooping the nigga at the concert he was in.
I remember that.
He was on the team with him, and he goes into detail about how that locker room was tore up. And actually, that guy got some privilege. They said they was going to suspend him with pay, but really and truly, they saved him and kept him from having to confront his teammates that was ready to whoop that butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were ready to see how bad he was ready to whoop a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
So he still got some kind of privilege and favor. Well, if it would have been somebody in our shoes that had done the same thing on camera, oh man, we probably would have been traded, released. You get what I'm saying? But he got a contract extension.
Exactly.
So he brought this up. He witnessed it firsthand. So I mean, it's a deep book, but that effort. The question was asked, "What can you do?" Reach out and make an effort to find out what's going on and see if you have some of these beliefs that we tell you exist. Because some people deny that we go through these things. They deny that the atmosphere exists.
Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Hey, Goddess, that question that you asked, were you asking in a serious way or no?
Which one is that?
Yeah, I was asking in a serious way. And because we have been called African Americans, and I'm going back to the brother. I don't know if you're still online or not.
We talked about no, Tony, if you're available, brother, call back in. We lost him a few minutes ago.
Because we have been changed, and he's correct. If you look at our Constitution, still claimed us as 1/8 human. So what are we? Are we 1/5? Is that what you said, Rico? 3/5 human. So it's either we Black, or we African American, or we Negro, or we've been so many different changes. Just depends on every 20 years. What we are. What are we? You know what I'm saying? So
and who determines what we're called? Because I think Jesse Jackson did it one time. Who made that determination?
Well, like for me,
our bloodlines determine it. But go ahead.
Right. Like to me, and I still have a lot to learn on different terms and tribes and everything all across the world. When Tony's calling back in, he is much more knowledgeable about all that than I am. But like with me, I have European heritage. The original inhabitants. I also have original inhabitant bloodline from America. So my heritage is my tribe, my ancestors. Those are what made me who I am today. But for a more thorough explanation, I lack the words for it. As soon as Tony calls back in, I advise go to him.
Okay, he's on the way.
Okay.
Tony, what's on your heart, brother?
What's that?
Yeah, what's on your heart, brother? He's at. Rephrase your question, Badger.
So so who are we is what was asked, and I brought it up, and I mentioned the natural way and stuff, but I don't have as much words or understanding of the different tribes around the world as you do. So I figured this would be a much better conversation for terms and tribes and all that stuff from around the world. You have more information than I do.
For clarification, if you don't mind, clarification, Tony, is as Blacks, okay, we have been changed. Our nationality, or who we are, has been changed throughout time. We went from Negro to nigger, to African American, to black, to all that. That's why I quote, who are we?
Okay, so I'll go to begin giving some background on this, right? So, all right, so I did a presentation this past week. I titled the series "The Hidden Colors." All right. Now, what this goes into is the fact you had the real black Christian missionaries, one such as John Marrant. He was an African that was born in Europe. Like many of those African slaves, they came from Europe. Okay. Now, this situation, John Marrant being just one of many black Christian missionaries. All right. He became a celebrity evangelist through the conversion of Indians. Okay. American Indian people who share similar complexions, such as what they call African people, right? Brown skinned people, essentially, right? So anyway, once an Indian becomes a Christian, right, you are no longer an Indian. Now you are being classified as a Negro. If we look at the Bible, right, it says, you know, we have people and in the Bible, I don't know the exact chapter or verse or what have you, but it constantly references servants of God. Servant is synonymous with slave. All right. So when an Indian becomes a Christian, by default, that Indian becomes a slave. 1, 2, they lose their natural identity. A Negro is also synonymous with slave. Black is synonymous with slave. A series of terms coming from foreign caste and class systems. All right. It details this. Okay. So fast forward now, because you know, we're talking about the original Indian colleges, what was also known as the Indian colonial colleges, which were schools for the conversion of Indians into Christianity, right? So fast forward just a little bit now. Now we're going to go into the early 1900s, where we have a guy by the name of Walter Plecker, okay? He was a German. He worked for Virginia Vital Records and Statistics, right? He was engaged in legislative acts, such as the Racial Integrity Act of 1924, right? Where basically they made it a felony for an Indian to identify themselves as an Indian. But you can identify yourself as a Negro, colored, mulatto, whatever, anything other than Indian. So essentially, this scheme to strip our American people of our natural American identities has been going on for many centuries now. And so where we are today, you know, we have to be very clear. And how do we identify who we truly are? And that requires proper genealogy research, not DNA tests. DNA test only goes back to your mother and your father, to their mother and father. You have to have a direct specimen versus actually having records of who your people are. And deciphering through all these various records that the government and numerous other entities have collected throughout time. Because once upon a time ago, I'll share this with you. You know, you can look in the Georgia law. It's a Supreme Court decision, Worcester versus State of Georgia. This is out of I want to say 1832, and there was another one. I can't recall that one, but it was dated like I want to say around 1812 or something, right? Situation is you had quote unquote white people that needed a license to be in Indian country, to be in Indian territory. They needed a license. They had to be there on official government business because it would have caused conflict and issues with the treaties that our people had. And to this day, we still do have these treaties, but unfortunately, when we have people falsely identifying themselves as Black, Negro, African American, or what have you, they're no longer in touch with certain legislation that is available, which entails the protections that have been established for our American people. This is what it's all about right here. This is what it's about. When you have people, quote unquote, Black people, telling the youth, multiple generations of our youth through this foreign education system, right? That, oh yeah, this is the story of Black people. You all came here as slaves from Africa. No, that's not true. When we look at the core, when we look at the true history, not the revisionist history, the alternative truth and alternative fact, that agents of whatever corporations, foreign corporations and entities have intentionally rewritten history. But meanwhile, the real history is available for those that desire it. You know, simply speaking to your elders and asking your elders, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, yo, who are our people?
Mm-hmm.
Some of your elders will tell you, yo, yeah, you get punched in the face back in the day for calling an Indian black. By default, you get punched in the face. That's complete defamation of character. That's slander. You're causing harm to my natural being by identifying me as something as degrading as black. Black is degrading. When we look at these terms, when we have these terms, you know, they talk about black minority businesses. This is a minority community. You look at the term, the definition of minority, just people like talk about white supremacy and all that. Well, it says by definition, a minority, a minor, that means you are inferior in law.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the opposite of inferior? Superior, right?
Yes.
So you couple black with minority. Now you're talking about someone that is super inferior. And then you have people regurgitating this. Political figures, business owners, entertainers. All these people have contracts, but they don't have contracts with the people, though. The people don't have contracts with these contractors that are working for the foreign entities. No one's telling our people the truth. And what I encourage is for our people to identify their truth so that they can stand on what is theirs versus what is not theirs, because this is what's causing us harm.
Exactly. Let me do this. We got a caller. Stay right there, Tony. Stay right there. I want to come right back to you. But we have a caller. Caller, what's your name? Right. Where you calling from?
If you're talking to me, it's your brother and servant, Brother Pete. How we doing?
Hey, doing good.
Happy birthday. Join with me now. Happy birthday. What? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Good deal. Appreciate you, brother. We got Brother Tony on, and he's educating us on historically, man. And I know you,
Brother Tony is dropping fire. The line is hot.
Yes, sir.
The brother's dropping. He's dropping the inner fiber of the workings of this society on what we call the private side, and how it affects us publicly, and it's very much real. The brother ain't said nothing but the truth. He's telling us the blatant, hidden truth of how this thing works. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about how they numbered the people. Yes. They numbered the people here too. And the people have value. And in your whole life is orchestrated by that. When we say you're a living live commodity, you are. If you haven't gone through the understanding, researching that knowledge, and gaining an understanding of that level, you are actually a own commodity. Which I don't. Nobody own me. Listen, you don't own the house that you have. You have a certificate of your deed. You got a certificate of your title for your car. Where's the original title? I mean, it's all a game. It's all an illusion. I encourage you to look at the movie End of the Road, How Money Became Worthless, so you can understand the Ponzi scheme that we call our financial monetary system. It's all a game. The brother's telling the truth. And this is the level that we need to come to. Status and understanding who you are ethnically as a person is very relevant. There are laws and rules. The original Constitution still stands. It still stands, but it's been put on the shelf, and the corporate Constitution is ruling that. This is why the powers that be, the representatives of hooligans in D.C., want to hold all the power and don't want the people to have any. And then we, as people of color in this country, you trace back your lineage, as my brother was saying, you'll find out that you're not who you really they've been telling you that you are in most cases. And you actually have treaties, contracts, you have constitutional agreements, you have governing bodies that are set up with authority that you can operate in and not be subject to none of the ways and means of the foolishness of the US.A corporation. But we refuse to sit down and read and research. It's very much true. We've been hit over the head, y'all. I think Hiram was hit over the head in a teaching, a guy named Hiram. and he was buried in the tide, in the sand, right where the tide come in 3 times just beneath the surface. And it takes a master's grip to come grab him and bring him back to life. Talking about you. They talking about you.
Wow. Wow.
They're telling you what they did to you on planet Earth. They're telling you what they did to you. The brothers dropping the blatant truth. You look at many of us and you can tell. They say you're black, you're brown. Okay, they tell you that you're black, you're red. Red with freckles all in your face. You got red hair, red hues in your skin. I thought you was black. The blackest black person in India and Africa ain't even black. When you put them up against black, they truly show that they brown. I mean, this is a game, and those are legal terms. Black means something in law. White does too.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And it's very much relevant in law. When we go into the courtroom, we're not dealing with a legal institution family. We're dealing with a bank. And they don't even have the legal authority to adjudicate. That was dissolved. Read. Read. Pick up some books and read and understand the game that's being played. They have to have you in the position that they want you to be in order to be in the position that they're in to run the mess that they run now. But when we make our corrections, all of that is dissolved.
Exactly.
Now, unfortunately, it's going to come down to brute force because the ability of the establishment to overwhelmingly use brute force is still present. And it comes down to a decision where those that are in power have to give up their power. They will result to killing everybody before they give up their power.
Exactly.
I concede.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Badger, coming to you next.
You know, it keeps going back to right and wrong for me. Like, you know, a lot of this stuff that they're talking about, man, I went and found out on my own because I just didn't see I saw too much hypocrisy in the laws that they had. You know, when I first saw that about the 3/5 in the Constitution and stuff like that, I'm like, wait a minute, man. You know, what mindset and why would they even from the very beginning start this racism stuff and 3/5 human stuff? You know, you just start looking at reasons. You see, when you're trying to research and have some understanding, you got to find out the reason behind some of these things. Why do they change our label from black to African American to Negro? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? So you have to ask these questions. And as you ask yourself these questions, you start researching, you go find out, you'll realize that you need to go back to Eastern culture. You'll start finding out about the Dutch Indian Trade Company, you know, all these different people that made money. You start realizing the aspect of the financial system, everything that both of the people just said. You realize that, like Malcolm X said, they got us bamboozled. They got us caught in the system. And every generation that a child is born, that child is born into that faulty, flawed system, thinking it's normal and right. Believing the traditions that they are told is right. And until somebody tells them wrong, which are the elders, they gonna keep doing it, thinking that they're doing the right thing. What do we say? If you don't know no better, you can't do no better. So that's what you're gonna keep doing. You know, if somebody teaching you just something that's dysfunctional is correct, but it works for you, that's what you're gonna do. They call it conforming. So now we have to get to the point of where we say, well, okay, when it comes to some of these things we've learned, some of these things we endorse. We endorse capitalism. You know, we endorse economics, but we still know the dollar ain't worth nothing. But at the same time, it is worth something. So now what are we going to do? Are we going to value it to the point where we just need to play the game they play to survive the system? Or are we going to value it like it really is worth something, and then we're going to cry when it burn up in a fire?
Wow.
That paper. You get what I'm saying? So are we really acknowledging the true value? But, you know, I really want to ask Tony, being that he went there, because I sort of went there earlier with this sir and ma'am stuff, this sir and madam stuff that we got from Europe. That we got from Europe, because everything he talking about now, everything he just said is telling us, look, y'all been fed everything these Europeans done fed y'all, and you're eating it like a hog. Even though you know something ain't right with it, you saying, well, you know what? I embrace it, I endorse it. And I'm gonna ignore the facts that may be out there telling me that this is faulty, just like they're ignoring that racism exists and all these different things right here. I don't want to find out who came up with this system that we are calling right. So, you know, with that being said, Tony, what do you think about the European tradition of courtesy when it comes to the words sir and ma'am?
And to Badger coming to you next, then Toya coming to you. Go ahead, Tony.
So he just asked, what do I think about the European terminology of sir and ma'am?
Yes.
Well, answer your question, Raheem, the question that you asked at the beginning.
Man, it been so long, I almost forgot the of course I didn't have it written down, but it's based on sir and ma'am, mannerism that goes along with sir and ma'am, and thank you and stuff like that. Is it important that we teach our children that mindset? How important is it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I want to take it back to one of the statements in which the caller just said a moment ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was saying about pretty much the Europeans doing this, the Europeans doing that. Well, when we go through real history, right, we see that you had quote unquote melanated people over there in Europe in royal positions, okay? Certainly these people may have been mulattoes or what have you, King James, Queen Elizabeth. We're talking about the 1600s, 15th century, etc., right? These were melanated people known as Moors, okay, who was at war with Spain, all right? We have been in conflict with Moors. These are Africans that went into Europe during the period of the Roman colonization of Europe, what was known as Britannia once upon a time ago, all right? Now, when we look today at these quote-unquote black influencers, right, we need to know what their bloodlines are. Because it's not the quote-unquote white people, the Caucasians, the European descent people that are dumping black in the faces of our American people. They're not doing that. We have these quote-unquote black people, such as these Black Lives Matter peoples. These are Africans that set up that Black Lives Matter situation. They have their own agenda, their own interests, which is outside of our American people's agenda and interests. They're not the first to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, right, there are fundamental issues. There are fundamental individuals, entities, organizations, corporations, etc., that have invested in this, that have, quote unquote, black people in position of influence throughout communities that have been strategically targeted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For the purpose of causing confusion, creating distraction and disruption from these people securing what is really to be secured, such as their natural property. As natural people, you have natural property, beginning with your flesh and blood, continuing with that of your offspring, your posterity, your legacy. You're doing active usurpation right now. It's only advancing. We have people saying things like people of color. Well, across the world, you got people of color. That's not an identification, though. A person of color, POC. That's not an identifier. Because every POC, right, in my opinion, they need to go back to wherever they came from and handle the business where they came from. We have our issues here in America. We don't need no one else's issues. We don't need that, especially when it's documented how all these foreigners have come over here to sabotage us. They are colonizing our land. We're not colonizing theirs. We're not going to their countries telling them who they are. They're coming here and yeah, you're black. And I don't have any respect for you. You don't know anything. You are a fool to the entire world. This is how these foreigners are treating our people right now in 2021.
Absolutely.
The choices need to be made out here.
Good deal. Let me go to Badger.
If I can answer that question, those are titles of nobility. There's original titles of nobility. So when you really go back to the House of Lords, you get into the secret societies, they get a title of nobility and they recognize that sir. Okay, so those are really come from forms of titles of nobility.
Wow. Okay.
Man. So I want to comment on something, if you don't mind posting it back up on what someone just said on Facebook.
Which one?
If this information is still being presented by someone who pretentiously wrote all of this. It's not a matter. I know Tony said it was truth, but you have to understand the perspective of the more you research history and you don't go by just what the winners wrote, but you look at the people that are writing books or knowledge of. I'm saying knowledge. That's probably the wrong terminology. Of the history. Like I know people that live overseas and things like that, and I've talked to them. You know, everything from light-skinned people to darker-skinned people, and I've asked them about what they know about the history and stuff like that. And they bring up the topics of Moors and all that stuff, and how people from North Africa and Roman and stuff came up and slaughtered most of the indigenous people that lived in Europe before all that organized colonization started. They lived in tribes and all that kind of stuff. So it's I mean, there's even different comments in the Bible about it, and I'm looking into that. That references those kinds of topics. But I'm real curious on what Leonard's thinking about all this.
Leonard playing that corner up there. Leonard playing that corner. I said I was gonna go to Toya. Let me go to Toya. Then I'm gonna go to come to Leonard, and then after that, I think we have Kay. Kay just called in, so I want to touch her as well. So on Toya with the T, what's on your heart? Toya, you there?
You asking for me?
No, Toya. Toya with the T, you there? Okay, we'll come back to her. She may have stepped away. She said she was growing some tomatoes or something, and so she may be out there picking the tomatoes off the vine. Leonard, what's on your heart?
Oh, I'm just listening. It's I'm past history, so I'm really interested in if someone wrote short story, what would it say?
I'm the question asker.
I mean, what would it say? Would it show that you so righteous and that you extended everybody courtesy along the way? Would it really say that? Would it really say that?
The whole journey? Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So all of you gonna fall in the same boat sooner or later once you realize it. There's a condition called being a human being. And human beings have certain psychological preferences. And if given enough support, they tend to want what they want. That's just like you. That's just like you. You have the same characteristics. The only reason why you didn't do what they did is because you didn't have enough guns. A lot of you. Everybody that ever been on the block know the deal. You wasn't great. You wasn't good. You were just like them. So you always pointing the finger at them. Do you have those same characteristics? What would you have done? Then it's not so easy to point the finger. History is what it is. You can go look at it and find it as truth. It's there. Guess what? It ain't gonna change. So it can be whatever it is. What are you going to do today? What history you going to create today? You can argue about, you can sit around and talk about what color you are, how you get called, and then the rest of the world will move 100 years ahead of you, and you still be having that same conversation. I'm talking I don't care what you call, what you gonna do. What are you going to do? It ain't about what you call, it's what are you going to do? I've heard people try to talk me out of my freedom a lot. You can't do what you want to do. I know a lot of people who have done what they wanted to do. Like I said, I can be sitting across the table having a civil conversation with you. If you want to go to war, we can go to war, baby. It ain't about nothing. What is it about? I can stop any conversation by stopping you from breathing. Do you understand? So when you get to talking about whether you free or not,
that sounds violent. That sounds
or whether you are less than somebody, do you feel like that? Then that's who you are. That ain't who the rest of us is. That's who you are.
Let me do this. Let me go to K. K with the E. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good morning, young lady. What's on your heart? You've been listening in for a minute or two. What's on your heart? Talk to me.
I don't know. Y'all talking about a yes ma'am and no ma'am being taught. And I had a goddaughter to come over here last night, and her daughter came to pick her daughter up when she got off work, and she didn't like what her mother was saying to her, and she just kept jumping up, and she said, I'm just trying to keep my hands to myself. I said, girl, you better keep your hands to yourself. Your mama gonna whoop you. And I just kept saying that to her. But the third time, I guess she thought, I'm gonna show you, Grandma Kay. And she jumped up and ran in there and attacked her mama. And thought she was really just beat her mama with this board and everything. Her mama blocked that lick with the board. Her mama flipped her. Next thing you know, her mama was on top of her. It was dark in there in my living room and the storeroom. All I could do was just like, come on. I just stopped it. I finally got her off of her. And then she still acted like she wanted to attack her mama, but then she called the police. I had to tell the police, if I would not have been here, her mother would have went to jail just on the strength her daughter's face was bloody. But I told that cop, I said, this is what's wrong with our society now. Y'all think that it's okay for children to disrespect parents. Parents need to do just what she did to her daughter. Her daughter attacked her. She whooped her daughter. I said, me being a person that work in the community, it was a reason why she called me and wanted to come and spend the night at my house. Because her daughter was going to come and act like this with her. And after it was all said and done and they didn't take her mama to jail and made the daughter go ahead and leave or whatever, she said, Mama Kay, last time she did this, they grabbed me and she blacked my eye. I said, your daughter? Where's the respect for that? And this little girl say yes ma'am and no ma'am all day long. That yes ma'am and no ma'am didn't mean nothing to me after I seen her attack her mama like that.
Exactly.
It didn't mean nothing. And she was so respectful. Like when I told my kids about it this morning, my daughter called me. Mama, I'm glad we didn't come over there because we would have had to grab her. Like we would have really had to grab her. So she was being disrespectful and you're going to attack your mama in my mama's house. My kids said they would have had to they would have had to tame her. I said, I'm glad y'all wasn't here. It wasn't meant for y'all to be here.
Exactly.
Mama didn't go to jail, and I just thank God for it. But I told the police, I said they need some mediation, and that little girl need counseling because she has a daughter, and she was mad because her 7-month-old daughter has a bite mark on her jaw because one of the cousins over there where she took the baby, a 1-year-old bit the baby on the jaw. And she was mad because the grandma was upset with her. And you didn't tell me that my grandbaby had a bite on her jaw. When she got through with the police unhandcuffed her. I went out there and put her coat and shoes on her. Like, y'all just gonna have her standing out here on the concrete. It's cold. I don't know what out here. He said, no, thank you. And I just talked to him with respect. If it wasn't for me being here, I just thank God because they would have took her to jail. And it would have been like she abused her daughter, but her daughter literally attacked her in my house. I said, y'all messing up my peace and all kind of stuff. I don't act like this. Y'all got to go. I was so mad. I was upset. But when I finished and it was all said and done, all I could do was thank God. I've been having a headache. So y'all done gave me a headache and ran my blood pressure up. I'm like, God, why me? I'm like, I can't deal with this. I don't deal with stuff like this because I told her, I said, my mother is in heaven and I still respect her.
Let me do this.
On this earth with me.
Exactly. Let me do this. I have another caller from the 770 area code. 770 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Raheem. Happy birthday. This is Pastor Sideria.
Hey, how you doing, young lady?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Now,
I'm calling you from Atlanta.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I want to hear, we got a few minutes before we get out of here, but I want to hear what do you think about the yes, ma'am and the no, ma'am situation? Is it important that we teach our children that?
For me, I have to say no. I wasn't raised that way. And in all honesty, you would think I would have been because I think I mentioned this before. My mother was born in 1918. So she would have been in a generation of people, even through slavery, her parents probably or possibly being a part of slavery, or her grandparents. It would have trickled to at least her generation. She never never demanded that we say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. And so because of that, I never demanded it of my children. Now, when we moved here to Georgia, my youngest son was still in high school, and he was reprimanded because he did not use those terms. But he didn't use those terms because he wasn't raised that way. He was raised in California, and you very seldom hear somebody say yes, ma'am, yes, sir in California. So for me, the terminology, first of all, means absolutely nothing if the respect is not with the term. If it's just someone that has been taught to say it, they're just repeating it out of habit. This is what I've been taught. They don't even understand the whole picture of why they would utilize that terminology. And as someone else said earlier, it was not always contributed to slavery. It was contributed to sir, as he said, as being someone noble, someone maybe in a royalty position. So it was made to be inferior to that by, of course, how man makes everything inferior by mankind. So no, I don't think it's a necessity for a person to utilize that terminology. And if they're utilizing it, I think they should be fully aware of why they utilize that term. Other than that, that's just like somebody using foul language because they lack the ability to use other words when there's thousands and thousands of words in a dictionary. It's like, why do you even have to use foul language when there's other words that can describe that same feeling, and you can say it with as much passion and get the same result? But it's so people use terms because they hear them, not because they understand them or understand the origin of them or understand the importance of them. So again, my answer would be no. I never taught my kids that. They moved here, and like I said, my son was reprimanded, and I went to the school behind that. Like, you can't reprimand him about something he's never been taught.
Let me do this. We got to get ready to get out of here, but we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Raheem. It's Anna. I was calling to wish you a very happy birthday. And
Thank you,
God
young
bless
lady.
you with so many more.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I need to hear your heart before we get out of here, though. Is it important that children understand or use the verbiage on yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and thank you and all those pleasantries? Is it important that children use those things, or it really doesn't matter?
Absolutely. Very important. You should always use that type of verbiage when you speak with anybody, period. You know, it's just a matter of showing respect towards others. That should be unspoken. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that you're taught at a very young age. It's called manners. You know, one thing I love about the South, and I'll say I love about the South, is the fact that there is that yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, no, sir, you know, and it's something that I just feel that, okay, you're speaking to me with respect, even if sometimes I feel like the ma'am is a bit over the top, but you're showing me the respect that, you know, as a person I deserve. So I absolutely agree with it. And I have raised my children to be that way as well, including my disabled autistic teenager. So if he can do it, everybody else can do it too.
Absolutely. Man, these calls are rolling in. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Dad.
Hey, boo, how you doing? This is my oldest daughter, y'all. This is my oldest daughter right here. What's going on, baby? Huh?
Hey, and Lyric here.
Hey, boo boo, my grandbaby. Hey.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, baby. How you doing? That's my oldest grandbaby right there. That's my oldest grandbaby. Hey, that Junior. That go Junior. Junior, what you doing, man? Cherry curl. What you doing, man?
Just wanted to call birthday, Dad.
Thank you, baby. Love you too, baby. Thank you for calling.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Boy, look here, boy. Leonard, they're gonna make my eyes sweat today. They're gonna make my eyes sweat, brother. I'm telling you, Leonard, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Cause my eyes can be sweating over here in a minute. Hey,
So
man.
funny. Hey, I hope people definitely continue to post questions and things like that. If you have things, you know, that they want us to talk about on the show, because like you said, you know, a lot of people may not understand. This is common knowledge that is available to you in lots of different. Rico just told you about the books that he read as well. So if you want to know, just go read it. Go find out. Do some independent research on the matter.
Yes.
But don't get caught up in bias. Bias is always wanting to see yourself as the positive.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, your interest as greater than others' interest. So you have to be very careful with bias, because bias will corrupt your perception of things.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then you'll turn around and become a fanatic, just like these crazy folks that we see every day.
Look, it's time for us to get out of here, man.
Can I cut in real fast? Just give me 10 seconds.
Well,
I want to be respectful of the sir and ma'ams.
Hold on.
I just want to say I want to be respectful of the sirs and the ma'ams, and I don't want to be biased, but I have to say they lost, they losing, they lost, they losing, they lost, they losing, they losing, they lost, they losing, they lost, they losing.
A fight is a fight. When you lose, you don't lose.
All right.
Now I was going to come to you anyway because I want you to pray us out, brother. You there?
Yo, you asking me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pray us out.
You said pray you out?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't do prayer, man.
I thought there was a hold on. I thought I was talking about Brother Pete. Brother Pete, you there?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I thought
somebody else too. I'm on mute.
Yeah, okay. I thought you was Pete, brother. I apologize to you. Pete, pray us out, brother.
All right, Father God, in Jesus' name, we thank you to God for the activity of our mind and limbs, the reasonable portion of health and strength. We thank you to God for the words of comfort and truth. We thank you for all that has been said today. We ask that you would bless those in radio land, those appointed on the air, to God, that your will and favor will be done. Bless us as we go our separate ways. Continue to remember this nation, dear Father, and let righteousness prevail. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Let me go before we get out of here. Badger, anything on your heart, brother? 2 minutes, a minute and a half.
Minute and a half, huh?
Yes,
you know, you guys know me. I don't like labels of any kind, shape, or form. Because we just are. We are a part of all things. Simply that. You know, what are we made of? The things that are in the earth. What is our spirit? You know, things of that nature. You know, so we are who we choose to call ourselves, but at the same time acknowledge that when you call yourself something, people are going to have the perspectives that they have.
Exactly.
But you have a choice to let them control you or not.
Yeah.
It's an awareness.
Good deal. Now, Rico, I appreciate that, man, because they tricked me, man. I thought it was the same. I thought, you know, they sound so much alike. I thought they were Pete talking. Then yeah, I mean, they sound alike, man. They might be brothers, man. You look at it, they ain't tell us they was brothers though, but that's okay. They got one over on us. God, is anything on your heart?
Yeah. I just want
1 minute.
Everything. I got you. What's on my heart is that I think that the yes sir and the yes ma'am is an understood situation. We know that it goes both ways. That you have to feel it, and it has to be done in the perfect time and moment. I think the young lady spent it out. Also regarding history, remember history, to Brother Tony, history repeats itself all day long. And right now we're in a situation with the United States where the corporation has ended and the world order is taken in. So I think that's where Brother Tony is coming from on the new direction that will be presented. I might be wrong, but I might be right there on it. That's why my concern is a little bit there. because it is going to make a difference of where we stand at. And if we take this inoculation on this vaccination and the future that it comes with it, the 5G and all that, and the nanoplastic and the
Now,
nano thing.
you know you had a minute and 45 seconds. You know you had a minute and 45 seconds.
Okay, but you keep, okay. Next book for all your trumpets. As my boy put up a book, I just received a book too. It's called The Room Where It Happened At. If you don't know by now, and you're a Republican, you stand with Trump, read that book, and you'll know why that everything needs to be removed.
Good deal.
The Room Where It Happened At.
Good deal. Gotta get out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast. Leonard, what's going on at 3 o'clock today?
If you do not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3 o'clock Eastern today.
And here, Rico, before we get out of here, man, what's the day called?
Today is called Way Out Wednesday. You know I had to mess with you, man. Hey, it's Way Out Wednesday, man. And thank all y'all for tuning in to this Way Out Wednesday in the Wild Wild West with the Wild Guys.
Good deal. Good deal. We're about to get out of here for today. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank everybody for their birthday wishes too. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine somebody's light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. You'll have a great day. If you get an opportunity, love somebody. You just might find some love in return. Love you, and you all stay blessed.
Birthday to